have discussed about how to use Solidity programming, and we have discussed about smart contracts, how to create a smart contract by using Solidity programming. And today we'll extend the topic. So we'll talk about how to create a decentralized application. So today I'll show you how to create a decentralized web application in particular by using various kinds of frameworks that are available in blockchain using local Ethereum blockchain network. So that is my topic. I have shared my presentation in through Git. So yesterday also I did the same thing, right? So you can go to my Git. Okay, let me share that Git link. Okay, in the chat. So in the Git, you will have my presentation, and also you have some decentralized projects there. There are three projects which are related to decentralized web application. That those are like demos. So if you understand those kind of projects, then you can easily start having your own decentralized app related to your project and all. So we have projects like voting decentralized application, which is written from scratch. So today I'll just show you that. And also there is a sample project which is like pet shop. So this is a example project from Truffle also. So pet shop decentralized application is also available on my Git. So registration DaaP is also available here. And also I did a small example around blockchain and IoT bulb, which is like integrating blockchain with IoT use cases. So I did a small use case on it. So these are the four decentralized projects which was there in the GitHub. Okay, and today my presentation was there in a repository called GKV Haridwar DaaP session. Okay, so when you click on that, you can able to see my PPT there. So you can download this PPT for your future references. So hope my session is recording, because that will help you out a lot, because today I'll be writing several programs related to decentralized mobile web application. So if the video is recorded, so that you can use that as a reference also. So the agenda is very clear. So let me jump into the presentation also. So the agenda was very clear. We have to build a decentralized application. So we'll talk about what is this decentralized application, because we are using centralized application, right? So we are using a lot of web applications, mobile applications and all. So let's also talk about what is this decentralized app. For me, decentralized app is nothing but an application which is deployed or connected to a decentralized network. So when you talk about decentralized network, blockchain comes in, because in blockchain you have a decentralized peer-to-peer network available. So if you want to connect your mobile application or a web application with the decentralized network, for example, say you have a Facebook, right? So Facebook will be connected with the respective data center, which is near to the location there. And when you look at Facebook, you have a user interface and you have a backend, right? So in every application, you will have front end and back end. Front end is nothing but that's an experience which is given to user. So something like a button, something like displaying a text or displaying an image or displaying a video, something like that. The user interface elements will be available on the front end, and those front end will be connected with back end. So in decentralized application also, you have a front end, you have a back end. So today I'll explore how to create a front end, how to connect that front end with back end using two use cases today in this session, so that you can understand how to use Solidity, how to use blockchain frameworks, how to use Ganache. So I'll be talking about three things here. One is how to use Ganache. So what is Ganache? How to use Ganache? And second one is like what is Truffle framework? How to use Truffle framework for creating several decentralized web applications or mobile applications using this. And third, I'll be showing you how to build your decentralized app. So how to create it. So you have a workflow here. So we'll discuss about it. And also we'll talk about how to deploy and test the decentralized app by using MetaMask and HTML server. So you need a server in order to run your app, right? So we'll be using local server, a web server, and then also we will be using MetaMask, because in blockchain, crypto wallet is very important. Because if you want to upload a sensory data in IoT, or if you want to store a document, or if you want to store information onto the blockchain, or if you want to share some crypto coins, if you want to share some cryptocurrencies onto the blockchain network or to your friend through a blockchain network, then obviously wallet is very important. So in the real time scenario, if you see, if you want to share money, then obviously people use today phone pay, google pay, bharat pay and all. So all these kind of wallets are like user interfaces which are given to the user, and the user will be using this kind of applications, and that application is pushing data to bank, and in the bank your money will be, will be having there, and the applications will be, requesting the bank to share money with your friend or something like that. They will be using some wallets there. So here also in blockchain, if you want to do any kind of financial transaction or non-financial transaction, when you talk about financial transaction, people may use any kind of blockchain network based on the application context. Today the popular cryptocurrency is bitcoin, people use in order to transfer money. People are using today bitcoins and all. And ethereum, when you look at ethereum is not openly for financial transaction, it is for non-financial transaction kind of thing. So in every blockchain network, there is a concept of cryptocurrency. Why we need a cryptocurrency in every blockchain? Because miner will be maintaining the network. So the people who are maintaining this network has to get some transaction fee, has to get some fee in order to maintain the entire network. Because it's not simple to store, the entire network of data, entire digital uh, distributed ledger there. Because if you want to maintain that, you need a lot of infrastructure, you need a lot of physical computing powers and all. So if people want to wants to maintain that, they have to get some money. So that money will be, given through cryptocurrencies, and that money will be given through transaction fees and all. So whenever user pays a transaction fee, so based on the transaction fee, then if you want to make a transaction fee there, then obviously cryptocurrency comes in. Every blockchain network will have their own cryptocurrency, and people are also creating some kind of tokens, when they are building their own blockchain networks by using various public, public blockchain servers and all. So in this session, I would like to show you how to use Ganache, and I will be using ethers as a cryptocurrency in making some transaction, but we'll be using test ethers instead of real ethers, because it's difficult to purchase a real ether. So that is why we'll be showing you how to use test ethers on the blockchain network in order to demonstrate the today's application here. And also we'll be talking about how to use Truffle and all. So before we get into this, let me show you what is Ganache. So you need a network in order to store data. So what this blockchain network is doing there? Blockchain network is storing the data, is storing the piece of information which is encrypted through a cryptographic algorithms. And your data, when it is stored in the network, then obviously people can acquire it if it is public. So if it is private, only restricted people can able to view what is the data which is getting stored on the blockchain network. But when the blockchain is public, then obviously anyone can view the data, but they cannot understand because that is encrypted through asymmetric cryptography algorithms. So you need a private key and you need a public key in order to understand what is the data all about. If you have this kind of keys, then obviously you can able to access the data which is able to which is getting stored on the blockchain network. And the thing is, like, people are storing the information blockchain because it is tamper free, because it's difficult to tamper the data. And if the data is tampered, say if the data is tampered, then we can easily identify. And the kind of security is also given to that data which is getting stored on the blockchain network. So there are several use cases around it. So the previous speakers, and the next speakers will be talking about those kind of scenarios, right? So today, let's understand what is Ganache. But Ganache, if you want to develop an application, say if you want to develop a decentralized application, for me decentralized application is nothing but application for blockchain network. So since the blockchain is decentralized, so we used to call application as decentralized application, DaaP. DaaP is nothing but decentralized application. So if you want to create a decentralized application, you need a blockchain network which is running. So we have to connect our application with the blockchain network. So instead of connecting to the real Ethereum main network, so we'll be using local network which is running on our local machine, which is running on our laptop. So in particular, so we will be connecting to this local Ethereum blockchain network. Then we'll be making some transactions to understand how they are happening on the blockchain network. And slowly, if everything works out, so you can implement this to the main Ethereum network with just changing the API and all. When you change the API, then obviously you can able to connect with the main Ethereum networks also. So when you look at the local, so we need a local blockchain network in order to test and debug our blockchain application. So that is why we'll be using local, which is personal blockchain network. So out of which Ganache is one. So Ganache is a personal blockchain which is used mainly for building rapid Ethereum distributed applications on it. And you can use Ganache across the entire development cycle of building decentralized applications. It is used to, as I said, it is used to develop, deploy, and test our decentralized applications. So you can easily download that. It's a one-click, so people call it as one-click blockchain server. So it is open source. You can download it, and it is portable in various operating systems. So we have Windows, we have Linux and all. But I recommend only Linux operating system, in particular Ubuntu operating system, in order to develop various kinds of decentralized applications. So if you want to work on blockchain, I recommend you to have a dual operating system. So because it's because the entire blockchain network, if you want to make it, then it is very easy for you to do that in Linux operating system. So I recommend you to have a dual operating system, because in various colleges, when I start talking about blockchain, so in various places people have Windows operating system. But these days, when you look at the different types of technology which are emerging out, so it's better to have a Linux kind of environment. So when you have Linux kind of environment, it's easy to get started. Once you get started, then obviously you'll be learning a lot of things around it. So that kind of practical knowledge is very important. So that is the drawback in various places. People have Windows, so it's a bit difficult for us to get entertained there. So that is why my first prerequisite before we get into the decentralized applications are like, you have Ubuntu operating system. Ubuntu is open source. You can download it and you can boot it into your laptop with dual boot. So you can have Windows and Ubuntu operating system on a single processor. You can have dual boot. So you can shift according to your application context there. So that is why that will be my prerequisite here. So let me jump into the web page of Ganache. Let me download that. Okay, let me show you how to download this Ganache, and then slowly we'll connect with MetaMask. So that's all about Ganache. Ganache, it is available in two versions. Like you will have Ganache user interface, and also you will have Ganache CLI. So if you want to deploy Ganache on, say, AWS, or if you want to deploy Ganache on Microsoft Azure, so then obviously Ganache CLI tools will be helping you out. But since we have a desktop user interface, so we can download the Ganache user interface desktop application directly, and we can start working on it. So let me jump to my browser. So I have a browser here. Let me open the website called trufflesuit.com/Ganache. Okay, so let me push this into the chat so that you can also go through that. So trufflesuit.com/Ganache. So Ganache is part of Trufflesuit. So Trufflesuit is nothing but you have some set of tools which are related to blockchain. So you can able to see this. So Ganache. So Ganache, as I said, it is available on different for different operating systems. Okay. So this is, as I said, this is a personal blockchain, Ethereum blockchain server, which is running on your local host in particular. So which is running on your laptop, and it is open source. You can go to the GitHub repo, and you can, if you want to do some kind of modification, so you can do the modifications there. If you want to go to the documentation page, you can go to the docs. It has a documentation related to the Ganache. So as of now, as we have only 2.5 hours, let me download the Ganache onto my laptop. So it's simple. So my operating system is Ubuntu 20.04. So that is why it is showing download Linux here. So hope my screen is visible. So you can click on this download Linux immediately. The the Ganache will be downloaded, but it is having on my laptop. Okay, so I'll show my the Ganache. So here, so I have Ganache on my laptop. So if you want to download it, you just click on this download. So that file will be downloaded. So that is a file here which is available in this folder, which is blockchain bootcamp folder. So I have this Ganache file here. So it is like, no need to install this Ganache. It is like one click blockchain. So it is called one click blockchain because when you double click on it, immediately Ganache will be running. Okay, so let me show you that. So let me double click on it. So no need to do any kind of installation here. You need to double click on it. So when I double click on it, immediately the Ganache server will be running on my system. If the Ganache server is running on my system, you can able to see. It will be asking you to create a workspace. So we have Ethereum. So here there are two blockchain frameworks which are available. One is Ethereum, second one is Corda. So as the session is related to Ethereum blockchain, so let me click on quick start. So when you click on quick start, immediately a server will be running on your Ganache. So that server is nothing but our Ethereum local blockchain server. So you can able to see, let me zoom it for you, because you have the RPC server here. RPC server is running on 127.0.0.1:7545. So that is a port number for my Ganache server, which is running on my laptop. So our mining status is auto mining. So there is no miners here because it's local host, right? So it's running on my local computer. So auto mining option is available, is enabled here. So when it is auto mining, automatically the transaction will be mined, automatically block will be added to the blockchain network. And so what is a blockchain network? Ganache is a blockchain network. Now let me show you the current block. And the current block is block 0. So always in block 0 is nothing but Genesis block. So that will be created by the people who are creating the blockchain network. So here blockchain network is created, so you can able to see block 0. So block 0 is nothing but there will be no transaction. This is a first block, which is nothing but Genesis block, which has been created here. And we have network ID here. Network ID is 5777. That is a network ID. And we have RPC server 127.0.0.1:754Y. If you want to look at blocks, you can click on blocks. You can able to see what are the blocks available here. And when you click on transactions, you can able to see what kind of transactions are there. As of now, there are no transactions here. But when you make some transaction, the transaction comes here, right? So when you click on accounts, so you have some test accounts here. So you have test accounts like so there will be 10 test accounts. Each test account will have 100 ethers. So yesterday also on Remix Engine, I have shown you 10 different accounts. So we made some transactions on the Remix Engine by using one respective address. So here also you can use this address. So you can connect with any wallet using this address. So if you want to connect one respective address, then obviously you will have a private key. So you will have a private key. So when you click on this key, then immediately it will be showing the private key. So by using that private key, you can easily connect your address with the MetaMask crypto wallet. So we can easily make some transactions over there by using this 100 ethers. So we have 100 ethers, which means that we have some money in my wallet. So we can able to make some transactions. But if you want to make some transactions, you need a wallet, right? So this is like this is like a bank account. So we have a bank account, we have a balance in our bank account, but we need a wallet like PhonePe. So though you have a bank account, you cannot send money in air, right? So you need a user interface, you need a wallet in order to make some transactions. So we have a bank account, we have money. So let's create a wallet. Okay, let's connect this wallet with the MetaMask. Okay, there is a what is MetaMask? MetaMask is nothing but a crypto wallet. When you look into the the blockchain, so you will have full node and partial node. So what is full node? Full node is nothing but a node which is having the entire ledger of transactions on the of the blockchain network. That is called full node. Generally, full node is will be maintained by the miner, will be maintained on the peer. So that is called full node. And the second node is called partial node, which is some people call it as half node, where half node or partial node is nothing but the crypto wallets which comes in. So you can install a crypto wallet on your mobile phones or your on your desktop PCs here. So what is this partial node is doing? Partial node is connecting with your blockchain network and able to make some transactions onto the blockchain network. So if you want to make some transactions onto the blockchain network, you need a wallet. So that wallet should hold some cryptocurrency. If it holds some cryptocurrency, then only you can make some transactions onto the network. So here today we need a crypto wallet. So we have to install some crypto wallets onto your machine. So when you install a crypto wallet onto your machine, you can be able to make some transactions onto this local network also. And you let us jump into the crypto wallet. So what a crypto wallet is? Crypto wallet, according to me, is like a PhonePe wallet, which it will PhonePe wallet will be connecting with bank, and crypto wallet is nothing but a wallet which will be connecting with blockchain network. Let me jump into that. And in open source, so since everything is open source here, we have an open source crypto wallet which is called MetaMask. So let me jump into MetaMask. So any browser, so today can be converted into a partial node. So which means that if you have a partial node on your mobile phone, you can able to connect with blockchain network. If you connect with blockchain network, you can make some transactions. So that partial node is very important, which is like a pocket node, which can be installed on your mobile phone, or which can be installed on your laptop machine, so which can be easily connected with blockchain server. So let me jump into that. So we need a crypto wallet. So if you want a crypto wallet, you can use either Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. I have tested in both browsers, so it is working good. So let me use Google Chrome. So Google Chrome, I want to convert this Google Chrome into a partial node. As of now, Google Chrome doesn't support any blockchain applications, but we have to install a third-party extension. So that third-party extension is nothing but MetaMask. So let me jump into the extensions page of the browser, and through the extensions page of the browser, we can easily install the crypto wallet. So when you install the crypto wallet, you can connect with this local Ganache. So, and by using crypto wallet, you can connect to main Ethereum networks, or you can connect with test Ethereum networks, or you can connect with local, local Ethereum networks there. So let's jump into the extensions page of the browser. So let me click on the, let me zoom it for you. So I have opened the browser. So every browser will have settings. So here in Google Chrome, on the right top side, you will have ellipse, vertical ellipses here. If you click on that, you can able to find settings here. So we have to click on settings. So it's simple. We have to click on the vertical ellipses. Sorry. So we have to click on the vertical ellipse, and we have to click on settings. So when you click on settings, so the settings page will open. So here on the left bottom, you will have extensions. So you can click on that. So when you click on this extensions in a new tab, so the extensions page will open. It will show you the what are the extensions that are readily available to your Google Chrome browser. So we have to install a third-party extension to convert your browser into a partial node. So that the agenda here is to convert your browser into a partial node. Because why we want to convert our browser into partial node? Because we wanted to deploy decentralized app, which is a web browser based app, right? So we wanted to develop a web application. If you wanted to develop a web application, obviously your browser should support a crypto wallet. If the browser is not supporting crypto wallet, then obviously we cannot make some transactions here. So that is why we are going to add an extension here, which is like the crypto wallet extension to the browser. So using that, we can make some transactions here. So let me jump into the so let me click on this horizontal navigation bar. So here we have the on the left bottom, you can able to see open Chrome web store. So this is the page where we can install some extensions based on the requirement. So we have to click on this open Chrome web store. So it's simple. We have to open this. And we have to click on this. Immediately the the web store will be opened, the page will be opened. So here we can search for MetaMask. So when you search for MetaMask, easily you can get the extension there, and you can install that extension. You can add that extension to the browser, and so that your browser will be acting like a partial node, so which can be connected with the blockchain network. So here let me type MetaMask. So MetaMask is an open source and gateway to various decentralized blockchain applications. So let me search for it. MetaMask. So you can able to see if you want to get the documentation, and also you can click on metamask.io. So that is the website, and the community page of MetaMask. You can able to get all the data related to it. But as of now, so since we have only 2 hours of time, so let's define it like a gateway to enter into, to access to your blockchain decentralized application. So we need a gateway to connect, right? So we need a partial node to connect. If you want to have a partial node, then obviously your browser. So because as we are building a web application, your browser is very important, because browser is a client which can be connected with the web servers very easily. So that is why we are converting our web browser into a partial node by adding this respective extension here. Let me click on it. So when I click on it, it will ask you to add to Chrome. So we can click on this button. When you click on this button, so it will be added to the Chrome. Okay, so let me click on add extension. So when you click on add extension, immediately the file will be downloaded onto your laptop, and then this file will be added. So you can able to see MetaMask is now added to the Chrome browser. So when the MetaMask is added to Chrome browser, we need to configure it, because every MetaMask will have an address, right? So that wallet address will be there, because based on the wallet address only, we will be making some blockchain transactions. But generally, when people look at transaction, they used to think that that is a crypto wallet, cryptocurrency transaction. But in the blockchain, you can also have non-financial transactions also. So but if you want to have a non-financial transaction, you have to pay some transaction fee. Say if you want to store a sensory data onto the blockchain network, or if you want to store some device data, IoT device data onto the blockchain network, So the IoT device data is not cryptocurrency data, right? So it's a information which you want to store on the blockchain network. So if you want to store the data, you need to pay some transaction fee. If you want to pay some transaction fee, that transaction fee has to be paid through cryptocurrency only, because the miners cannot have the dollar, or cannot make some transactions on dollars or rupees there. So they used to do on cryptocurrencies. So because through cryptocurrencies, because the currency is very costlier, so they'll get some enough money in order to maintain the entire blockchain network there. So that is why we need a crypto wallet. So this is MetaMask. So MetaMask, you can able to see here, connecting you to Ethereum and decentralized web. So which means that you can easily connect with decentralized web applications when you have MetaMask connected to it. So your MetaMask will be converting your browser to a partial node here. So let me click on get started. So when I click on get started, so it will be asking, if you're new to MetaMask, you can create a wallet. If you have already a MetaMask account, you can import the seed phrase. So when you import the seed phrase, you can easily connect. Okay, so let me click on create a wallet. Okay, let me click on create a wallet. So if you want to help us to improve MetaMask, so you can click on I agree. So they used to collect all your keys and all. Okay, for better analysis. So let me click on no thanks. Okay, so it will, so you can able to enter some password. So let me enter my password, some random password, but don't forget this password. So I have given some password. Let me click on I have read and agree to the terms of use. Okay, let me click on create. So when you click on create, immediately MetaMask account will be created. But this is very important. So secret backup phrase. If someone is holding your secret backup phrase, they can able to back up your wallet. So if you are using for real time transaction, you should not share this secret words. But as of now, as a demo purpose, I'll delete this account after the session. But let me show you what is there beside this reveal the secret words. Okay, so we have a seed phrase. This is called seed phrase. Okay, so we have to store this seed phrase in the safe location. Okay, in the safe place. So you should not never disclose your backup phrase. Okay, anyone with this phrase, okay, if you disclose, then obviously they can access your wallet, they can take your cryptocurrencies. Okay, so as of now, let me copy it. Okay, so let me place in the notepad. Okay, right. So let me click on next. So it is asking to confirm your secret backup phrase. So we have copied it, so we can able to select here. Today museum claim success. So here we have to select today museum claim success. What next? Boss floor robust shoe. Boss, where is boss? Floor robust shoe. So we have to select in order. Pledge summer urban general. Pledge summer urban general. So we have to select in order according to the seed phrase. Let me click on confirm. So it is saying congratulations, you passed the test. Keep your seed phrase safe and it is your responsibility. Okay. Save a backup in multiple places. So never share the phrase with anyone. So be careful of phishing, because phishing is a technique, right? So which looks like a duplicate thing. Like phishing is nothing but one kind of fraud, which is like, I used to do phishing a long back ago when I'm in BTech in order to get some passwords and all. But we have to be very careful of phishing. MetaMask will never spontaneously ask for your seed phrase. If you need backup your seed phrase again, you can find it in settings and security. So if you have any questions, you can support. Okay. So all done. Okay. So this is not required. Let's talk about it later. So we have an account. So you can able to see it here. And this is having some wallet address 0x5EC1 and so on 9042. Okay. If you copy this, so you can paste it in the notepad. Okay. So that is the account one wallet address. So this is a wallet address, which is like a bank account. So as I said, so this is the wallet address, and that wallet is holding 0 ethers as of now. Okay. and it is also connected. If you want to buy ethers, you can buy here. If you want to send money, so if you want to send some ethers to your friend, you can send some money. Okay, so as of now we have 0 ethers, we cannot send it to anyone, right? So we can swap with various kinds of wallets and all. Okay, let's talk about the blockchain networks here. So this account is connected with, you can able to see Ethereum mainnet. So Ethereum mainnet is nothing with the main blockchain network of Ethereum. So it is now connected with Ethereum, and you have test networks also. We have Ropsten test network, we have Covan, we have Ringby, we have Goerli. So these are the different types of test networks. So test networks are also works like a main Ethereum network, but they're like, you will have test ethers. So if you have a test ether, you can easily make some internal transactions, right? So but here, as of now, we have Ganache. So Ganache is having 100 ethers. In test network, you may get only 0.1 ether or 1 ether or 2 ethers, but we have Ganache here. So Ganache is like a hero. We have 100 ethers in our account. So we have 100 into 10, we have 1000 ethers. So as of now. So let's jump to this. Let's connect this crypto wallet MetaMask with the Ganache. Okay. So if you want to connect this MetaMask with Ganache, it's very simple. What we have to do is we have to click on custom RPC. Okay, the custom server. So let's keep the network name as my Ganache. Okay, the RPC URL. So RPC URL I have shown you, right? So this one HTTP 127.0.0.1. So you'll have RPC server here. So that RPC server we have to enter. Okay. So make sure that if you want to work on this MetaMask, make sure that your Ganache server is live. Okay, it's open. So when it is open, then only it can make some transactions, right? So let me copy that URL here. If the Ganache is hosted, if the Ganache is hosted on AWS, then it will be live always, right? Then you can copy the the AWS IP address followed by port number of Ganache server which it is hosting there. So the default number will be 7545, but for security settings, people change this port number. So by default it is 7545. It is very easy to change the port number also, that in on AWS. And you have a chain ID. So chain ID is a ID assigned to this blockchain. Okay, so as of now, as we are not aware of it, okay, you can able to see here. You have information, dialog here. So the chain ID is used for signing transactions. So it must match the chain ID written by the network. You can enter a decimal or 0x prefixed hexadecimal number, but we will display the number in decimal. So that is what it is showing. So let me type, I don't know the chain ID. So let me type 0x1. Okay. So if I type 0x1, uh, it will show you that that is not correct. Okay, let me click on save. So that is saying the endpoint returned a different chain ID. So what is the chain ID? It is returning there, it is returning 0x531. Okay, when I click on save, it is returning, it is saying that boss chain ID is not 0x1, it is showing 0x539. So 0x539 is the default ID. So let me write 0x539. Okay, so it was written by the Ganache. Okay, so when I click on save, it is saying that yes, it is not 0x1, it is 0x539. Okay, so let me click on save. So when I click on save, you can able to see my Ganache, the configuration settings was stored. So it is showing 1337, that is a chain ID, which is a decimal ID of 0x539. So my Ganache is saved. So let me click on close. Okay, now it is connected to my Ganache. In my Ganache also, this respective account is having 0 ethers. Okay, keep it like that. Let me import one account from Ganache to here. I want this account to be used in the MetaMask. So that is why what I'll do is I will copy the private key of this respective account. So you will be having the private key which is here. So let me click on this keys. So when I click on keys, it will be showing the private key. So it's simple. You have to go to the respective key icon. So when you click on key, it will be showing the account address. So your account address is E3, but you have this private key. So let me copy this private key so that I can import it directly by using this private key on the MetaMask. So let me jump to MetaMask. So I have copied the private key. So here what I can do is I can click on this icon. So it is showing account 1 is 0 ethers. Let me import another account from the Ganache. So let me click on that. Let me click on import account. So when I click on import account, it will be asking how to select type. Okay, so select type private key or JSON file. So it's private key. So we have copied the private key of my address from the Ganache. So let me paste it here and let me click on import. So when I click on import, you can able to see 100 ethers coming up on my wallet. So this wallet address is nothing but 0xE3. So that is a wallet address you can able to see here, 0xE3. So this address is now connected, is now imported on the MetaMask. So make sure that it is showing my Ganache on the left top, on the right top. So because now this account is connected with my Ganache. If it is connected to Ethereum mainnet, you can able to see, zero ethers. You can able to see zero ethers directly. So when it is connected to my Ganache, then only you can able to see 100 ethers there. Okay, so your wallet, so it's like a one account for various banks. Okay, so you have 100 ethers in your wallet when it is connected to my Ganache. So sometimes people import the account, but they will connect with some test networks and all. So when you select test networks, your balance will be zero ethers only, though this wallet address is having 100 ethers. So 100 ethers are available on this respective network. So that is
Madhu
what
sir,
you have to select the my
Madhu sir,
Ganache. Yeah, my Ganache. Then only you can able to see the money,
Madhu sir,
100 ethers here.
sir, sir, there are means in chat I can see two, three participants have written that means the session is going very fine, but because they are hearing it for the first time, so they are saying to make it little slower.
Okay, okay,
Thank you.
okay, sir. Okay, let me repeat for a while so that you can also let me. I'll do one thing. Uh, I'll go a bit slow. Okay.
You may proceed, sir. No need to repeat because yesterday also they have done the MetaMask part. Only Ganache is the new thing. So I
Okay.
think, and if they require any repetition, then they can send in the chat window. I hope.
Okay. Okay. Uh, So here the Ganache is a local server. Okay, so this local server is holding some different types of address and balances here. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to connect this address on the MetaMask. So if you want to connect this Ganache onto the MetaMask, make sure that it is in the networks. It is showing my Ganache here, right? So we have listed out here. So and we have connected this account with the Ganache, so it is holding 100 ethers. So when it is holding 100 ethers, we can make some transactions. If the account is having zero ethers, so if your account is having zero ethers, you cannot make a transaction. So that is why I'm having 100 ethers here. So in account 2, I'm having 100 ethers. In account 1, I'm having zero ethers. So let me share some ethers to account 1. So let me show you how to send money from one account to another account. So here let me jump to account 2. So account 2 is holding 100 ethers. You can able to see. Let me send some money. Okay, let me click on send icon. So when I click on send icon, it will be showing you what is the recipient ID here. Okay, so transfer between my accounts. If you have their public address, you can ask them to share their public address. So that public address you can type it here. But as we are using my Ganache network, so which is like which is a local network, we cannot send to third person here. So let me send to account 1. Okay, so let me send to account 1. Let me send some ethers to the account 1. So let me put some amount here. Okay, so let me send some 10 ethers. 10 ethers to account 1 from account 2. So immediately it is calculating some transaction fee. So this transaction fee will be in terms of gas price. So that gas price will be paid to the miner who is mining this transaction. But here on Ganache, so it's auto mining, so there is no problem of gas price and all. So let me click on next. So when I click on next, you can able to see that the 10 ethers are being sending from account 2 to account 1. So here account 2 and account 1 are connected on the single Ganache. Okay, so they are connected on the same Ganache network, right? So let me click on confirm. So when I click on confirm, you can able to see amount plus gas fee is getting deducted. So we are sending 10 ethers, but we have a gas fee of 0.002031 ethers. So that will be paid to the miner. So let me click on confirm. When I click on confirm, you can able to send some ethers from you can able to send some ethers from account 2 to account 1. Okay, so this information is mined, right? So this information, this transaction has to be mined by the miner on the blockchain network. Since we have auto mining, it will take some time, seconds of time, in order to mine the transaction. You can able to see account 2 is holding 89 ethers only. 89.99, which is obviously approximately 90 ethers, because we got 0.988 because we have paid some transaction fee also. So in account 2 we have 89.99 ethers, and account 1 we have 10 ethers. So we have made some transaction from account 2 to account 1 by simply clicking on this send icon. When you click on send icon, it will be showing this transfer between my accounts. So if you have the third party account, if it is the Ethereum mainnet, then only you can make money. You can send your cryptocurrency to your third party person. But since it is my Ganesh, you cannot send it to third party person here. It should be in between in between our accounts only. So here we have clicked on account, to account 1 we want to send. So like this we can make some transactions on the in between in between the accounts here. And when let's jump to Ganache. So in the Ganache you can able to see the balance is 90 ethers, because to account 1 we have made some 10 ethers, right? We have shared some 10 ethers to the account 2 there, account 1 there. So that account is not available on the Ganache, right? So there is account 2 only, which we have imported. Account 1 is your MetaMask account. Okay, to the MetaMask account we have shared 10 ethers from the address 1. Okay, from this respective address. Let's jump into blocks. Okay, let me show you blocks. So one block is been added, so which means that that is holding some transaction of 10 ethers. So we have shared some transaction, right? So we have made some transaction in between the accounts, so that data is getting stored in the block. So you can able to see transaction hash is generated. You can able to see from this address to this address the value has been sent out, right? The 10 ethers have been sent here. You can also click on transactions. You can able to see that the 10 ethers has been sent from one account to another account. So the value here, it is 10 ethers in between the account to account. So in block you can able to see the transaction hash, right? So you cannot get the data here directly, but when you click on transactions, okay, or when you click on transaction hash, you can able to see that 10 ethers are shared in between the accounts through the Ganache network. So this is how the transactions are listed out in the, this is called ledger, right? What is ledger? Ledger is nothing but holding the complete data of transactions that have happened. So once it has the transaction, then obviously block will be added to the blockchain, because blockchain is all about holding the blocks in a chain mechanism through a cryptographic hash value. So hope you're aware of it. And here we have the blockchain, right? So this is a chain. Every chain will be having one chain ID, which is assigned by the blockchain server. So blockchain server will be assigning the chain ID. So that is like roll number. So when you look at a student in the college, so every student will have a roll number, right? So in the similar way, on one network you can have multiple chains. So multi-chain can comes in on one particular server. So that is why every chain in the blockchain will be having a unique chain ID. So that chain ID has to be imported in the MetaMask. So that is why here in the My Ganache, if you see, we have the chain ID also, right? So what is this? So here you can able to see the chain ID, because chain ID is a unique ID which is which is created by the server. So that is why previously when we are creating an account in the MetaMask, when we are creating a network configuration on the MetaMask, then we have entered 0x1 initially. So 0x1 is not the respective chain ID. That is why it is showing error. It is saying that your server is pushing so and so 0x539. So that is why we have replaced with 0x539, and that will be converted into decimal value. So that decimal value is nothing but 1337, which has been listed out here on the configuration page. So as of now, it's very simple, because one server, right? One server can have multiple chains, and every chain will have a chain ID. So that is what we have to understand on the chain ID part, because someone has asked me in the chat, what is this chain ID and all. So that's the chain ID concept there, because on one network, on one server, you can have multiple chains, and every chain will have a different unique ID there. So, and also the data you can able to see in blocks, right? So in blocks, block 1 is added because we made some transaction. So let us make another transaction here. Let me make let me send some more ethers, so that let me show you the transaction list and block list there. So let me select account 1, because account 2 is holding 89 ethers. So I am having an asset. What is asset here? Ether is asset, and balance is 89 ethers. So let me send some more ethers. Okay, some more 10 ethers directly onto the account 1. To account 1 I'm sending 10 ethers. So let me click on next. When I click on next, it will check whether the account is holding greater than 10 ethers or not. If it is having greater than 10 ethers, immediately you can make a transaction here. So we have a gas price. So the let me click on confirm. When I click on confirm, this 10 ethers will be will be sent to account 1. So before the deducting of 10 ethers from account 2, it will send a request to the blockchain, and the blockchain network as auto mining. So since it has auto mining, it will be automatically deducting the balance from account 2, and that amount of ethers will be stored in account 1. So all this data will be stored in the blockchain network, right? So when you go to account 1, you can able to see 20 ethers. So you can able to see activity also. So in account 2, what is this account? Yep. So in account 2, you can able to see, so it's having all the details here. So transaction nonce value is 0. So we hope you're aware of nonce. Amount is, yes, minus 10 ethers has been deducted. You can able to see the gas limit in units, gas used, and the gas price. So whenever the price is high, then the time taken to make a transaction will be goes less, right? So that's how miners do that, right? So a transaction was created, transaction submitted with a gas fee, and transaction confirmed. So which means that miner has to confirm the transaction when the transaction is submitted to the blockchain network there. So you can able to see all these kind of activities, okay, under the activity tab. So assets, so asset is nothing but the ether, which is having the currency, which is having here. So this is the asset of this account. So let me jump to the next part. Oh, any doubts here? So that in block 2, so yeah, block 2 has been appearing here in the blockchain because we made second transaction also. So when you click on this block 2, you can able to see the block hash, and you can able to see the transaction hash also. So block hash, you know this, right? So anyways, block hash, by using block hash, they will be connected, right? So it will be holding the previous the hash and all, all that, right? So let me click on transaction. Let me show you that 10 ethers again are transferred from one account to another account, and this was mined. So this respective transaction is mined in block 2. So here every block is holding only one transaction here, but in the real time scenario, hope you're aware of it. So you will have multiple transactions on each block. The miner will be making multiple transactions, and they'll be pushing to the block, and that is why people talk about Merkle tree and all. So hope you're aware of it. So this is a simple kind of understanding of making transactions from one account to another account by using Ganache. Am I there in the session? Let me see. Okay. So let me look at the question. How to become a miner? So in Ganache, mining is automatic. Okay, no need to become a miner. If you want to become a miner in the real time scenario, if you want to become a miner, you have to maintain the ledger. So you have to download the entire ledger. So anyone can become a miner if they has that kind of infrastructure. Okay, if you have that kind of infrastructure, you can become a miner. And yeah, so it's very, if you want to become a miner, you need a lot of computing powers. So that is more important. So you have to maintain a lot of big servers. So you have to download the data coming from, you have to store the entire ledger of blockchain. Then only you can become a part of miner there. So my Ubuntu does not open Ganache 2.5.4 Linux. I guess on Linux, let me show you that. Right click on this, go to properties, permissions, allow executing file as program. Okay, make sure that you have this tick mark. Okay, so right click, properties, permissions, tick mark. Okay, so allow executing file as a program, otherwise it will not open. And so that was the permission. On Windows it will open. You have to download, need another voice download. Okay, So we have the Windows support also. The release is compatible with the latest version of Windows, Mac, and Linux. Okay. So if you want to make some wallet transactions, then obviously you can download the Ganache on Windows. Okay. On Windows also it will work because I have tested it. So there is no issue. But if you want to build a decentralized application, you have to install Truffle. That installing Truffle on Windows will be a very big problem. Okay. So I don't recommend that. Okay, having Truffle on Windows. So that is why I am asking you to have an Ubuntu operating system or deploy your Ganache on the AWS, something like AWS Linux, EC2 console, EC2 instance, and then you can easily do that. But you have Windows support, you can download that. So in Windows or Linux, it's one click. Okay, double click on it, it will start running because here Ganache is a server, so immediately server will be on. So make sure that you have administrative privilege for the Ganache there. Okay. So this is a basic prerequisite. So this is a basic prerequisite for decentralized app. So what we did so far, so we have connected Ganache with MetaMask because if you want to run a web application, you need a crypto wallet. That is why we have connected this. Okay. So this is the first step. So we are in the first step of building a decentralized application. So we have connected Ganache with MetaMask and we made some transactions for you to understand. Okay. So let's jump into the building of decentralized app. Let me jump back to the presentation. So let me see what is there in the presentation. Truffle framework. What is this Truffle framework? So Truffle framework is a development environment. So if you want to build, if you want to develop a decentralized application. So what is this decentralized application? So as I said, for a beginner to understand, decentralized application is nothing but an application which is connected to decentralized network. So the best example is blockchain. So a decentralized app is nothing but app which is connected to blockchain network. So if you want to develop those kind of decentralized applications, then you need an environment to develop, right? So before Truffle, it is very difficult for us to, because you need a lot of tools in order to create a decentralized app. So what Truffle did is Truffle acted like an umbrella. So it has brought all the tools into one kind of environment. Okay, so that is why in various use cases, in real time scenarios, people started using Truffle suite. So suite, the name itself says that it's nothing but a group of tools which are required to develop a project on a decentralized application related to Ethereum. Okay, so for me, Truffle is a framework which is holding a lot of tools in it, so where you can easily get started to develop some decentralized applications. So this Truffle has a built-in smart contract compilation. So in Ethereum, if you want to talk with Ethereum, you need a contract. Without contract, you cannot communicate with Ethereum blockchain network. If you want to make some money, you need a contract. If you want to, if you want to share some money, you need a contract. If you want to store information, you need a contract. So using contracts only, we can able to communicate with the blockchain network, which is in particular, which is Ethereum here. So this smart contracts will be helpful in the other platforms of blockchain also. But as of now, since Ethereum is public and open source, we can use that. And linking and deployment and binary management. So linking, so you have to deploy your contract onto the blockchain network. So today I'll be showing you how to develop a contract, how to deploy that contract onto the blockchain network, and how to deploy, how to connect that contract with the front end HTML page user interface. All that we can do that by using Truffle here. And it is also having an interactive console for making direct contract communication. So that is also available here on Truffle. Okay, so how to install this Truffle? So it is very very difficult to install this Truffle on Windows environment. If you want to do that, make you have to struggle a lot. So that is because I have I started working on Truffle on Windows. So it has created a lot of headache because we have to install a lot of tools on Windows, because Windows directly it will not support all this So that is why I shifted to Ubuntu after seeing all those complexities. So because on Windows, what you have to do is you have to use the toolkit like Chocolate. By using Chocolate, we have to install all this kind of toolkits directly on by using in Windows you have PowerShell. So by using PowerShell, you have to install all these tools. So that will create a lot of you have to struggle a lot. So my better suggestion is this: as this FDP is related to blockchain, I recommend you to have a complete Linux if you want to proceed further. If you want to, if you look at Hyperledger Fabric, or if you look at the multi-chain, or if you look at the Ethereum blockchain network and all, my better suggestion is to have the Ubuntu operating system if you want to develop project. Because on Remix IDE also, if you want to develop a smart contract, you can easily do that. But if you want to create an end-to-end blockchain application, I strongly recommend you to have an operating system which supports that, right? So out of that, Ubuntu is one. So let me show you how to install this. So if you want to use Truffle, make sure that you have Node.js, because this Node.js framework will be helping you in running servers, in getting all the work done on the backend. So make sure that you have Node.js on your laptop. Make sure that you have Node Package Manager available on your laptop. So these are the prerequisites. So you should have Node.js. You should have Node Package Manager on your laptop. Then only you can able to install Truffle here. Otherwise, you have to install all those kind of kits, and then we have to come back to Truffle here. So make sure that you have Node.js. By using nodejs.org, you can download the respective file from nodejs.org, and make sure that you have npm also. When you install Node.js, npm will be automatically installed. So if you have Node Package Manager, you can easily install Truffle by running a command called npm install -g Truffle. So that is a command which is used to create uh, you know uh, which is used to install Truffle in particular. Okay, so let me show you how to install this. Okay, and then slowly we'll jump into the part. Okay, so let me open my command prompt. So my command prompt is ready. So let me zoom it for you. What is this? Yep. So we have the folder ready. Okay, so let me show you how to install Truffle. If Truffle is installed, you can easily identify that Truffle space version. If you enter this, you can able to see the version of Truffle framework. So as I said, Truffle is a suite. So it has a lot of inbuilt tools. It has a Solidity compiler. It has a JavaScript Ethereum API, so which is installed. Okay, and also it has a Node.js server. So we need a server, right? In order to run your application, you need a server. So that server feasibility will be also there in the Truffle suite. So it will show you all the versions of these tools which are available in the Truffle. So Truffle in my laptop, it is showing v 5.1.5 is available, and Solidity 0.5.16 is available on my laptop. And Node, we have v10.19.0 and web3.js. So this fellow is very important. Web3.js is like a bridge between the front end and back end. Because what is front end, what is back end, that is what you have to understand in the decentralized application. Front end is nothing but HTML page, back end is nothing but blockchain network. So instead of storing your data in the database server, you will be storing your data in the blockchain network, right? So that backend is nothing but blockchain network. So to connect front end and back end, you need an API. So that API is driven through web3.js. So web3.js is nothing but a bridge between the front end and back end. So the HTML page, you can easily run JavaScript code, right? So that JavaScript code will be integrated in the HTML page, and that JavaScript code will be connected with the blockchain network on the back end. So this fellow is acting like a bridge between the front end and back end. So today I'll be showing you how to use this web3.js in between the front end and back end in order to develop a complete end-to-end decentralized application here. And Node, what is advantage of Node? So there is an advantage of Node is like, Node will be helping you to run the server. So, and also by using Node, we have installed the Truffle here. I will show you the command how to install Truffle. But this commands, I'm using Ubuntu operating system, right? So make sure that you also have the same operating system with a different version also fine. Or you can have virtual box. You have virtual machines and all, right? So you have VMs, you'll have virtual boxes, but I recommend you to have only dual boot. Okay, so then this will be a bit faster. Otherwise, it will become slow. So Solidity compiler, which is installed here on Truffle, is 0.5.16. So last, several months back I have installed it. That is why I'm having the old version here, 0.5.16, and Truffle v 5.1.55 is a old version also. So the long back ago I have installed this. If you want to install it, you can use a command called sudo npm space install space -g space Truffle. So this is a command which is used to install Truffle. Okay, sudo npm, by using node package manager we have to install -g space Truffle. So the entire toolkit of Truffle will be installed on your laptop. Okay, when you enter, okay, when you hit enter, so this is a command. So it is asking my laptop password. Okay, let me enter my password. Then this files will be will be installed, but as of now it is already available on my laptop. So it says that it's already there. It will try to download, but it's already connected there on my laptop, right? But this is a command which is used to okay, but Truffle is available. It's very easy to so it's like it's already there. Okay, let's leave it apart. It's take some time. Okay, so let's leave it apart as of now. What is this? Let me zoom out. Okay, in Truffle, Truffle suite. Okay, so as this is FDP, let me show you all things in particular so that you can also explore it. So Truffle. So as I said, Truffle suite. This is Truffle suite. Suite tools for smart contracts. Okay, so here we have something like something like called boxes. Okay, let me click on boxes. So box is nothing but predefined, ready made ready-made project. Okay, that, so which is like Truffle plates, which are nothing, which focus you build only the project which you need, but the entire project configuration file will be available in Truffle boxes. Okay, you can search for any kind of, say if you want to work with React.js and React.js and Truffle. Say if you want to build a mobile application related to yes, you have this. So we have Drizzle React Native, so which where you can create a web application, or you can create an Android application where you can create an iOS application here by using this Drizzle React Native here. So which means that when you have React Native, obviously you can import your web application into the mobile application also, right? So all this kind of boxes are ready, but this box will be holding only the configuration setting. Okay, the main logic has to be written by you only, because the when you jump into React, so it will create an environment, right? It will create a environment, but we have to import our contract, we have to write a contract, and then we have to do an entire process. But the main empty boilerplate, which is nothing but the configuration, the project template, or you can say the project template will be downloaded from this box. And by using that project template, we have to write our contract, and we can easily migrate that contract onto the blockchain network, and then you can able to run the server. Since we have the project template related to React Native, you can shift your application into Android, and you can also transform your application into iOS and all. So that type of boxes are also available here. You can explore that. So as of now, I'm using MetaCoin box for you to understand how this Truffle works. Okay, so let me use MetaCoin. So MetaCoin, is a smart contract example box. Let me click on that. Let me show you what is available in the MetaCoin. In the MetaCoin, what people do there is, MetaCoin is nothing but it's one kind of token. Okay, I cannot say it as token, but you can assume that it is a token, which the name itself says a coin. So which is like MetaCoin. So which is like a coin kind of thing that will be available, that will be written in the contract. Okay, so if you want to do that, if you want to check how the Truffle works, you can uninstall, you can unbox the MetaCoin, and you can easily understand what is available inside. Okay, so let me jump into GitHub repository of the MetaCoin. Okay, so that let me show you what is available there. So MetaCoin, you can able to see contracts, migration, test. So this is a project template what I'm talking about. So project template is nothing but you have what contracts folder, you have migrations folder, you have test folder. In the test folder you will have test scripts. Okay, so you will have test
Madhu sir,
scripts. In the contracts folder
Madhu
you
sir,
will have smart contracts written for the project. And
Madhu sir,
sir,
कुछ
hello,
sharing में मेरे ख्याल से when we are shifting from one screen to other screen, ना? So it
hello.
has
The project template of Truffle, if you see here, you can able to see, understand. So we have a contracts folder. So this is a contracts folder. In this contracts folder, what people do is they write smart contract in the, they will put it inside the contracts folder. For example, say when you click on contracts folder, you can able to see solidity files here, migrations.sol, metacoin.sol, convertlive.sol. They are nothing but out of which metacoin.sol is a smart contract, and the remaining two are like supported files there. So all the contracts has to be stored in the contracts folder only. That is a point which I wanted to tell you that. And migration, so if the contract is compiled properly, then you have to migrate that contract onto the blockchain network. Then migrations are very important. So migrations is a folder which is holding all kind of migration logics. Okay, so this will be holding some JavaScript files. So this JavaScript files will be holding migration logic that I will explain later. But all the migration scripts has to be written. So if you have two contracts on the contracts folder, then obviously you have to write two migrated scripts here to migrate your contract onto the blockchain network. So the migration scripts has to be written in the migrations folder only. If you want to test your smart contract, then test scripts has to be written in the test folder. So this is like optional. It is sometimes people skip it, sometimes people write it. So if you want to test your contract, then obviously that test script has to be available in the test folder. Then only the Truffle will take the respective test script to test the contract there. And also you will be having the Truffle configuration, so which is truffle config.js. It will be holding some configuration data, but directly as we are using Ganache, it will be connected directly. But sometimes you need to have some custom RPC engines. Then obviously we have to we have to configure it by writing something like this: networks development host. So sometimes if your host is not 127.0.0.1, so you will be replacing that respective host to here, port and network ID, so which will be displaying here. So this is nothing but configuration file that is required to execute your Truffle project. So all this is called template. So this template has to be initialized by using Truffle. So let me jump back to my commands and let me show you that. So let me stop this and let me share my window. Okay, so let me share. Okay, is my, okay, 1 second, it is connecting. So Ubuntu 18.04 and 20.0 version, which I can say, because I don't see any problem in my Ubuntu with Truffle and all. So it is working good in my operating system. So this is a 20. I'm working on 20.04. Can you able to see my shell? Can you able to see my shell here? It is already available on my laptop. So let me stop this. Okay. So here, let me unbox the MetaCoin. Okay, so we have Truffle which is installed. So let me unbox. Okay, Truffle space unbox space MetaCoin. So when you enter this, immediately the box which is defined in the Truffle suite, so it will be downloading the entire git link through this command, which is unbox. The name itself is unboxing. So unboxing the MetaCoin project, that will be downloaded onto your laptop into this folder, which is jkv fdp blockchain. So I have created some folder to into that folder. So starting unbox, the direct is not empty, proceed anyway. Okay, let me enter no. Okay, let me create a folder. Okay, so that mkdir space meta coin, cd space meta coin. Let me have this command truffle space unbox meta coin. So it will unzip all the it will unbox all the files from the git for a while. Okay, it has downloaded all the all the files from the git. So let me show you with ls. So ls is nothing but which list out all the files in the current directory. So where you can able to see folders like contracts, license, migrations, test, and truffle config.js. So here, let me show you in the contract. Let me explain what is available in the the contracts folder there. CD space contracts. So I'm entering into the folder ls. So listing out all the files in the current directory. So let me show you. Let me enter into. Let me open the file sudo nano meta coin dot syl. Okay, so this is holding some solidity programming syntax here, which is like pragma solidity, saying that the compiler version can be in between 0.4.25 to 0.7.0. So any version less than 0.7.0, greater than 0.4.25 can work. So import, so I'm importing, so I mean this file is importing the contract solidity file called convert_live.syl. So this file is available in the contracts folder that is importing here, which means that there is some function which is defined in that solidity file. So that function, so these people want to use it here. Okay, so mapping of address to unsigned int balances. So here every address will have certain balance. So that is what the point here is, like so they wanted to share some tokens, not ethers and all. So they wanted to create some token, and they wanted to share that token in between the accounts here. So initially they wanted to have a balance, for every address that that you connect with the solidity file. So they are giving 10,000 as a balance, which is like in 10,000 meta coins as a balance. So 10,000 meta coins. So constructor public. So if you hope you're aware of constructor, immediately whenever you deploy this contract, whenever someone connects with the contract, whenever the owner who is deploying this contract will be able to get 10,000 meta coins here. So that's the random number which has been entered there. So we have two functions here called send coin. Send coin is nothing but to whom you want to send meta coins here. So meta coins are nothing but some kind of so here meta coin is nothing but, according to me, it's a value which has been written inside the balance. Okay, so they are naming it as a meta coin. So actually its token is not created here. So they wanted to use some value in terms of a coin here. Okay, so send coin address receiver. So the arguments are receiver and unsigned int amount. So from to the receiver, if you want to send some meta coin, so that is the second argument here. So here what will happen inside send coin function, so they are transferring some coins to the receiver by calling the send coin function. So get balance in ether. So get balance in ether is nothing but if you want to convert that coins into ethers, so they are using a library, a solidity file called convert_live.convert. So this is a dot convert method. So this is defined in convert_live.syl. So get balance of address comma 2, which means that so the balance will be converted into ethers according to this function. So they are the user defined functions. Okay, so they're not predefined there. So get balance. So get balance is nothing but a function which returns the balance. So this is the only for you to understand, I'm showing all this contract functions. Okay, so they have defined send coin function, they have defined get balance in ethers, and get balance is nothing but which it will return the meta coins. Get balance in ether is nothing but which returns the meta coins will be converted into ethers. Okay, so on a random value, so that they want to return. Okay, so this is like a meta coin.sol. So in this solidity file we have a contract called meta coin, and this meta coin, whenever you deploy this contract onto the blockchain network, the owner will be holding 10,000 meta coins. If someone else is accessing your contract, then if you want to send some coins, then obviously you can use send coin function through send coin function, they can send some meta coins through this function call. And if you want to get the balance in ethers, you can get the balance out there. So get balance is nothing but which gets the balance in terms of meta coins there. So this is the contract file which has been displaying there in the metacoin.syl. So here let me show you every contract which you compile. So in remix engine also, every contract if you compile, the bytecode will be generated, that is called API. So API, application binary interface, will be generated for every contract. So that API will be stored in the build folder when you compile this contract. So when you compile this contract, you can able to see a build folder which has been created here, and that build folder will be able to have the the application binary file. So that application, by using that application binary file, so you will be migrating your project onto the blockchain network. Okay, so here let me show it from scratch so that you can also understand how this happens out here. Okay, so let me create a new project. Okay, so let me create a new project instead of metacoin so that you can also understand how to create a blockchain decentralized app from scratch. Okay, but I'll be using some HTML files. Okay, because I cannot write everything from scratch in a 1 or 2 hour session. Okay, so let me use my get my project. Okay, so voting DApp, let me jump to voting DApp. Okay, so in the voting DApp, there is a source folder. Okay, in the source folder, you'll have index.html. Uh, in the index.html, let me show you the output first so that then only you can understand. Let me show you the output first and slowly I'll develop it. Okay, so let me is my GitHub account displaying on screen? I don't know whether it is sharing or not. So if it is not sharing, please let me know.
Displaying, sir. Displaying, sir.
Okay, so let me copy this. Okay, let me clone this onto my laptop. Okay, let me create. So I have a folder here. Let me unzip it. Let me clone it. Okay, so sudo space git clone space control shift V. So now the project will be downloaded from my git. So let me show you the output first. So if I show you the output, then only you can easily understand what I'm doing there. Okay, what I wanted to demonstrate here. So this respective project is voting, which is like I have used three prime ministers on the web page. Okay, I have displayed three prime ministers. So you have to vote for your favorite contestant. So voting is all right. So I have displayed three contestants. You have to vote for the favorite contestant by using your MetaMask crypto wallet. Okay, so by using the crypto wallet, so I'm asking you to vote for your favorite contestant. Whenever you vote, all that data will be stored on the blockchain. And in the voting process, generally one time if you vote, then again you have to disable that address, right? So you cannot vote for more times. So you have to vote for only once through your wallet address. So that address, what we do is we will be storing in the blockchain network that this respective has voted. Okay, and counting how many votes have been casted for every contestant. So that is also been I have using HTML here. So what is here? Front end is nothing prime minister image. Front end is nothing but displaying a button to click. Okay, so if you want to vote, you need to click on the button. So what is front end here? Displaying the button is a front end, displaying the image is a front end, displaying the entire HTML in some user interface is a front end, right? So when you click on button, what should happen? So when you click on button, it should send us to the MetaMask, right? So we need a crypto wallet, because if you want to vote, generally in the real-time scenario, you need an Aadhaar card, right? So without Aadhaar card, you cannot vote, because you will be identifying through Aadhaar ID, right? So here or voter ID, whatever. So
Madhu, sir, sharing has stopped now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay, so I have cloned my project from my Git. So you can also do that if you have Ubuntu and Truffle right away on your laptop. So we have this voting -DApp folder. Let me enter into that folder, cd space voting -DApp. Okay, let me type ls. If I type ls, you can able to see contracts folder. Okay, so where your smart contract is written. So what is this smart contract? Smart contract is a programmable contract, which is programmable code. You can say that, which holds the who has voted, okay, who has voted to whom. So all that data has to be written, has to be stored in the blockchain network through the contract. So in the contract storage, we will be storing all the data which is needed in the through the contract. So let me open that contract file, okay, cd space contracts. So let me type ls. So you can able to see migration.syl is the default file. Whenever you create a Truffle project, you will get a default file called migrations.syl. So there is no need to bother about it. So this election.syl is the user defined program. So let me enter into that, sudo space nano space election.syl. So this election.syl will be holding as of now, as I said, I have taken 3 contestants, okay. So that is why you can able to see votes of 0 equal to I have taken only 3, so the size of the array is 3. This votes is nothing but an array which is holding 3 contestant votes, okay. So initially what I'm doing here is like, I am storing all the initial values to zeros, so that I can count once people vote for it, right. So so here I have used a function called cast vote. So this cast vote will be, will be called when you click on button, okay. When you click on button on the user interface, immediately this respective function will be called. In this function, what I'm doing here, I am identifying to whom I am voting. So I here for so as I said, there are 3 contestants on the user interface. Okay, let me run the project. You can understand. So cd space dot dot, let me run the project. So if you want to run the project, okay, so these are the steps. So on my git also, hope my screen is sharing. So here, where is this, my github? Yep, here. So you can able to see the commands, okay. So truffle space compile, truffle space migrate, npm space ren space dev. Okay, these are the commands which you need to run. Okay, so here truffle space compile, so which is nothing but truffle space compile is nothing but compiling your project. So what it is compiling, they're compiling the smart contract which is written in the contracts folder. So whatever you write in the contracts folder, so that contract will be compiled. So when you run truffle space compile, so you can able to see there are 2 contracts which are written in the contracts folder. One is called migrations.syl, that is a default file, and second one is compiling dot slash contract slash election.syl. So that is the election.syl is nothing but user defined solidity file, okay. So that is holding some function calls there. So I'll explain that function calls later, but as of now it is holding some function calls. So here whenever the contracts are compiled, you can able to see artifact. What is this artifact? Artifact is holding your contract address. Artifact is nothing but holding, whenever you deploy a contract, that contract address will be holded in the artifact. And also above the contract address, the most important thing is the binary code, right. So the byte code will be generated for every contract. So that byte code will be stored in the form of artifact. So that is why artifacts are very important. So whenever artifact is generated, then only it can be migrated onto the blockchain network. So that artifacts are written to which folder here? Build slash contracts folder. So in build slash contracts folder, you can able to see the artifact. Let me jump into that, cd space slash build slash contracts. So in this folder you will have this the artifact here. Let me show you that artifacts. So how many solidity files are there? Migrations.syl is one solidity file. Election.syl is one solidity file. So so the artifact for migration.syl is called migration.json. So JSON file is nothing but the artifact file of the respective solidity program. So we have election.syl, that is why you can able to see election.json. So let me open that. So when you open this, you will have the bytecode, so written for every function which is defined in that contract, election.json. So you can able to see here. So all this will be generated automatically whenever you compile the smart contract. So this will be holding the ABI, application binary interface. ABI is very, very important. In the Remix engine also, ABI will be generated whenever you compile the project. If you want to migrate, if you want to deploy your contract onto the blockchain network, you need ABI, you need contract address. The contract address will be generated only when you migrate, but ABI will be generated when you compile your contract, okay. ABI is nothing but application binary interface. So using this ABI, we will be, ABI is nothing but, here, if you see, that is a list data type according to Python. So it will be holding some kind of parameters here. Inputs, none, payable, false, state mutability, non-payable, type, constructor. So for everything, so constructor is defined in the contract. That is why, so a dictionary, a set of key value pairs have been created here, and we have taken address. So for that, one key value pair will be created. We have taken voters. So voters is a bool data type. So that is why you can able to see outputs is bool. So for every parameter that you define in the contract, so respect to bytecode will be generated. So that bytecode is nothing but this. So this, by using this application binary interface, so you'll have all the data related to your contract. So this data will be generated automatically. So this data, by using this binary interface, this by using this API, it will be, your backend will be connecting. You can easily deploy this onto the blockchain network. So backend is nothing but blockchain network here. You can easily do that. So this is nothing but an artifact. So artifact is nothing but an architect file. Okay, so where you can understand a migration script is written. So we need to write a migration script in order to deploy this artifact file. So all this data will be generated automatically based on the logic which you write in the smart contract. Okay, so all the data will be available in the in the JSON format. So let me come out of this. So this file will be generated automatically in build slash contracts. So that is why, if you see, let me clear the screen. Let me type ls. So if you, so here in the contracts, the contract file is there. Okay, so we have compiled it. So in the build contracts file, so the output JSON format has been, created. So once the build is done, you have to go to migrations. So in the migrations, you have to write a migration script for the JSON file to be migrated. So that is why here we have blockchain server running. So we can migrate this script onto the Ganache. So by typing truffle space migrate. So truffle space migrate is nothing but a script which migrates your migration onto the blockchain network. So let us migrate this by using truffle space migrate command. So truffle space migrate command is nothing but a command which migrates your so what it is saying, assertion permission denied. Okay, so let me type permission migration.sn. What it is saying, permission denied. Okay. So it is migrating now. Starting migration, network name is Ganesh, network ID is 5777. Now it is migrating two scripts. One is migration.js. So this is a default, of JavaScript file, which is available in the migrations folder. You can able to see transaction hash and all. But the most important thing is election. Okay, so we have to deploy the election contract onto the blockchain network. Okay, so it is having some, where is this? Contract address. Yes, this is the contract address of the contract called election that is being deployed onto the blockchain network. You can able to see some different blocks assigned to it. Okay, so let me click on blocks. You can able to see some blocks have been added here. So this is nothing but contract call. This is nothing but initially the contract has been called. The contract has been created here. Okay, so this is the contract address 0x029df. 0x029df is the contract address. So this contract has been created on the Ganache network. Now you can able to access this contract through the front end user interface by using ABI. Okay, ABI is very important. So let me, after migrating the contract, what we did here, I have executed, I have run the server. So if you want to run the server, make sure that you have some source file. Okay, so if the server is running, you need some HTML page, right? So let me show you that. So HTML page is there in SRC folder. Always your front end should be in SRC folder. CD space SRC. So in ls, if you type, you have index.html. So this index.html will be popped out to the front end. So whenever you run the server, and this index.html is holding some JavaScript files. So that JavaScript file is able to connect. So as I said, web3. So you can able to see in JS. Okay, CD space JS. So that is holding some web3.min.js. So this is the web3.js file, which will be helping you to connect front end and back end because in the front end you have a button. When you click on that button, so immediately that will send a request to JavaScript file, and JavaScript file will be sending data to blockchain network through blockchain smart contract through web3.js. So this is a web3.js is a Ethereum JavaScript API. So you can search for that also, web3.js. So Web3.js is a Ethereum JavaScript API, which is connecting front end and back end. So this is mainly used in different projects, in blockchain projects. So Web3.js can be used, as a collection of libraries that you allow you to interact with local or remote Ethereum nodes using HTTP or IPC or WebSockets. Okay, so here we are using HTTP because our server is HTTP colon, that right, 127.0.0.1 colon 7545. So by using this IP address, so this will be connecting. Okay, so web3.js, this is the API which connects front end and back end. So that JS is available in web3.min.js in this program. And this app.js is very important, because every time app.js will be the edited file. Okay, we have to write our logic inside app.js. If you enter into app.js, you can easily understand. So in app.js, we have web3 provider. Okay, so web3 provider, so generally it will be of two types. One is whether you can able to connect to your blockchain network through MetaMask. So sometimes in various projects, your front end will be connected to the back end. So if you want to connect to the back end, sometimes it will be through the MetaMask. So that is called the injected provider, which is available there. And otherwise HTTP provider will be there. HTTP provider is nothing but local host, local host colon 7545, that is a HTTP provider. So you can able to connect. If you have MetaMask installed on your browser, it will be connecting through a MetaMask. If not, it will be connecting through local host and all. So all that logic will be written in this JS file. So this JS file is using web3.min.js. Okay, web3.js is a JavaScript Ethereum API. So this will be holding some logic which will be connecting to, which will be pushing the data coming from front end to the back end. So app.js is the important program file which it connects both the front end and back end here. So I have written some logic. I'll explain this logic later, but as of now, I just wanted to show you that. So how this connection will happen. So let me come out of this. Okay. So here we have, we have bs-config.json. This is a server configuration file. So let me open that, sudo space nano space bs-config.json. So whenever you are running the, server through node, then obviously this file is very important. We have to tell where are the HTML files, right? So where are the HTML files? Because when the server is running, it has to be redirect. It has to redirect the HTML page to. It has to render the HTML page onto the front end, right? So our HTML pages are available in SRC folder. So we are just telling the server that these files, HTML files are there in SRC folder. And the JSON, the artifact is very important if you want to connect both front end and back end, because web3.js will be using this artifact file in order to connect front end and back end. So that is why artifact is always available in /build/contracts. So in build/contract, so you will have an artifact file which is related to the smart contract. So this setting, this configuration is available in bs-config.json. Now we can run a command called sudo space npm space run space dev. So when you hit enter, immediately your server will be on. You can able to see your server is on, and the files have been redirected from the source folder. You can able to see there are HTML, CSS and JS files available in source folder. Immediately it is saying that your server is on localhost colon 3000. Let me click on that. So let me click on this or copy link and open link. Okay, so whatever. So let me open that link here, localhost colon 3000. You can able to see some HTML user interface has been popped out. So in the HTML file, what we did here, we have I have used Bootstrap. Hope you're aware of Bootstrap in HTML. So I have displayed all this text. So the styling and all is created through Bootstrap. And here I have displayed three boxes. In each box I have displayed image. So each box I displayed a text. In each box there are buttons here. So all these buttons are user interface, right? So this has been created by using HTML. But whenever you, if you click on this, what should happen? Say, if you want to vote for Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, then you have to click on the vote button, respective button here. What will happen? This, when you click on this button, it will be sending a request to web3.js. Okay, so then what web3.js will do, web3.js will send a request to MetaMask if MetaMask is available. So how can you say a MetaMask is available on the browser? So let me also show you that. So let me click on console. Where is this inspect? Okay, so in console you have the let me zoom it for you. So let me type web3. Okay, so if I'm typing web3, it is showing, right? So it is showing web3 and all, right? So which means that web3 is enabled on browser, which means a MetaMask is available on the browser. If the browser is not having MetaMask, if you say web3, it says it's not available there. It's an undefined variable. So now web3, it is showing web3, right? So web3 is, if web3 is available, then obviously it will be using MetaMask only. But if you want to use MetaMask, you have to enable that MetaMask for this website, because by default your MetaMask will be disabled. Okay, you have to enable for this website. Then here what we have to do is, let me click on the MetaMask. Okay, let me zoom out. Let me click on MetaMask. Where is this? It will be here, something like, yep. Let me click on MetaMask. So here it is showing not connected. Let me zoom out. Okay, it is showing not connected. It means that this website, this web app which is running on localhost colon 3000 is not connected. Okay, so we have to connect with this web application. So here what we have to do is, we have to click on this. Immediately it says that it is not connected to this site, right? So let me connect to that. So this is holding some ethers, right? So we can easily connect. So connected sites. So we have to click on this vertical ellipsis, connected sites. So manually connect to current site. Okay, so here to be through which account I need to connect. Okay, so that is what it is showing here. So let me connect through account 2. Okay, let me click on next. So when I click on next, so it is saying connect. So when I click on connect, it will send a request to the blockchain application there. So it is saying connected. So when it is connected, then only you can make some transactions. Okay, if the crypto wallet is not connected to this web app, then obviously we cannot make some transactions. So sometimes it will be automatically connected, sometimes it will be manually connected. So you have to make sure that your crypto wallet is connected with the respective decentralized application here. So it is now connected. Now what we can do is we can make some transactions here. So say I wanted to vote. So here initially, the votes for the of the conditions are 000. So let me vote for the Narendra Modi here. So let me click on the vote button. When I click on vote button, it will send a request to web3.js. Okay, so web3.js will send a request to MetaMask, because MetaMask is available here. So account 2, it is showing 0, which means that we are not transferring ethers. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are sending an information, right? We are sending an information saying that yes, respect to this fellow. Who is that fellow? Account 2. Account is holding what? The account 2 is holding wallet address, right? So wallet address is nothing but 0xC3CC. So that is sending from that account. I'm sending what? I'm saying that I'm sending an information called 0. Okay, what I'm doing here on the back end here is like if someone is voting for Narendra Modi, I'm sending 0. If someone is voting for Donald Trump, I'll be sending 1. I'm sending say if someone is voting for Putin, I'm sending 2, which is nothing but a piece of information is sent in the back end script. Okay, so that is why the number of ethers that I'm sending here is 0, but I'm sending an information here. So let me click on confirm. When I click on confirm, immediately this transaction will happen on the this transaction is stored, is confirmed by the the Ganache, and you can able to see the one number of vote is been casted for Narendra Modi ji. But here I'm not showing you who has voted, but I'm showing you the count only. But in the back end, it will be storing all the data. Okay, let me vote again through the same account, then it will show you an error. So let me click on vote. So when I click on vote, immediately it is sending a request to the MetaMask. But in the MetaMask, we have the transaction error, which is nothing but this was the exception which is thrown from the contract code, saying that once the it is voted, right? Once through this account it is voted, and that is why this error has been produced. Let me change the account. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll change the account. So when I change the account, then obviously I can vote it. But in the real time scenario, you have to they will be creating a login through Aadhaar ID and all. So As of now, I'm not using any of those kind of details here. Just wanted to have a basic, the decentralized application here. So all the data is displaying here, right? So the votes have been displaying here. So all this data, the number of votes have been stored in the blockchain network, and also the who has voted, that is also stored in the blockchain network. So that is why, from the blockchain network, I'm able to read the data coming from there. So that data I'm just displaying it here, okay, on the front end. So this is a simple DApp, which I wanted to demonstrate, in the FTP program. So which is like, you have a front end, you have a back end. So this front end and back end are able to communicate with the help of a simple JavaScript Ethereum API. But we have to so if you want to write from scratch, so what are the things you need to develop, you need to write? So let me list out those files, so then we can able to, okay, let us differentiate. Okay, so let's stop the any doubt here so far? Let me look into the chart. Where is the chart? Yep. So here I'm using, I'll show you how to develop. Can you, yes, yes, I'll explain all this. So, as Remix engine is used to code for the center DApp. I'm not using Remix engine here. I'm using Truffle environment if you want to script from scratch. That is what the question is all about, and what kind of migration we have to do. So here, let me jump into the demo-DApp. So that is a empty folder as of now. Okay, here what we have to do, we have to create a DApp. So we have to understand what kind of DApp what we are creating here. Okay, so we have to understand that. Say we wanted to create a DApp related to so related to this voting application, then what you need HTML user interface, and also you need a backend. So first, what we have to do is we have to initialize the Truffle package first. So to initialize a Truffle project, so we have to run a command called Truffle space init. So when you use Truffle space init, then what happens here is like, the initial project template will be created. So what is the initial project template? Having a contracts folder, having a migrations folder, all this will be created by Truffle itself. So we have to initialize the Truffle package, project here by typing Truffle space init. So when I hit enter, immediately for a second, the Truffle package template will be created. So in the Truffle package template, what will be there is like, Truffle configuration file, and also the the contracts folder, migrations folder, everything will be created automatically. But we have to define the contract first. So the steps are like, you have to define the contract. And so here it is saying that copying project files to so and so path. So initialization successful, sweet. Okay, so let me type ls. So here previously it is an empty folder, but once you run this command Truffle space init, what it is doing there, it is copying some project files. So it is creating some project files. So what are the project files here? Contracts folder is a project file. So in the contracts folder, you have to create a contract. So in the migrations folder, what you have to do, you have to migrate your contract. So in the test folder, what you have to do, you have to say if you want to test your smart contract, you can write a test program in the test folder. So you have a configuration file related to Truffle. Okay, but when you look at my when you look at my project, so let me use another shell here. Let me look into voting-DApp. Okay, so this is the project template which has been downloaded from my Git. So when you look at this, you have several other files. So what are the several other files? bs-config.json. So why it is used? It is we have to write this configuration file for the server. Okay, so this is a JSON file. So we have to program it. And what else we need to do here? Package.json, we have to write this file. So which if you want to migrate your project, if you want to develop the end-to-end decentralized application, then obviously package.json is very important. Let me show you what is available in package.json. So I guess I have shown you bs-config.json. In package.json, if you see, you will have the data which is related to the project there. So what is the name, what is the version, what is the description, what is the main file, what are the directories here? So to which server we are, which server we are using out here? So we are using a server called light-server. So this light-server is a server which where you will get through node package manager. Okay, so when you install node package manager, then immediately you'll get all this. Okay, So what is the author, what is the license, what is the dependencies, dev dependencies of light server. So where I'm having a light server of version 2.3.0 available on my laptop. That is why I have mentioned all this. So all this data is available in package.json. So we have to create it manually. So the node underscore modules will comes to place if you want to, when you run a server, then immediately all this you'll get it. And src folder is also user defined folder. So we have to define, okay, so in images I have, so images are nothing but, I am storing all the images of my the what contestants here. So like, india.png, russia.png, usa.png. So it is not always mandatory, but so this all the images related to the web page are listed in the images folder here. And also index.html. Index.html is nothing but HTML script. Okay, it is also based on the application context. So here in this application, in the voting application, you will have all this, right? So that is what available there. And JS, in JS folder, you will have app.js. App.js is nothing but our own script. Okay, web3.min.js is a JavaScript API which is needed for building the project here. So truffle-contract.js, web3.min.js are predefined files. So these files will be used by the server whenever you want to connect front end and back end. But app.js, this we have to program it. So app.js. So let me show you in step by step. So what we have to do here. So first, what we have to do is we have to understand the application. Okay. So we have to understand the application. So what is application here? So say if you want to develop a voting application, voting DaaP. So what you have to do? So you have to vote, and when you're voting, you have to store the information. So what kind of information you have to store? One is like from which app, from which wallet you have voted. That is one kind of information you have to store. And to whom you have voted. Okay, to whom you have voted. So all this information we have to store on the blockchain network, which means that we have to create a smart contract, because through smart contract only we will be storing all the data on the blockchain network here. So first, what we have to do, we have to create a smart contract. So let me create a smart contract. So let me jump to the the respective file here. So let me type let me enter into contracts folder, cd space contracts. So when I enter into contracts folder, you can able to see the default program, which is migrations.sol. So migrations.sol is a default solidity file. Okay, so in migration.sol you will have some basic migration script, migration contract, sudo space migrations.sol. You will have some migration script which is written there. Okay, so this is a default file that will be created by Truffle always. When you initialize the Truffle project, then obviously you'll get this migrations contract. Okay, so this migrations contract will help all these will help other contracts to be deployed on the blockchain network. So here what we have to do is we have to create a new solidity file. Say sudo space nano space election.sol. So here I'm creating a new solidity file. Where I'm creating a solidity file, I'm creating a solidity file in the contracts folder. So here we have to define the the solidity file here. If you want to define the solidity file, so now I'll not type, but because it will take some time. So let me jump into this. Okay. So let me go to contracts, which is available in the git election.sol. So this I'll explain it here so that you can easily understand. So we have a function. Is it visible properly? Let me zoom it for you. So here we have a function called, as I said, what we have to do, we have to define functions. So yesterday also I told this, all the smart contract will be holding different types of function behaviors, right? So all the functions will be there. In the function, we have to convert our business logic into programming logic. So what is a business logic here? To whom you are voting, and to, and also we have to store from which wallet the voting has been casted. So all the data we have to store. Okay, so here what happens here is like whenever you click on button, vote button, immediately this function will be called. So inside this function, what is happening here, we have taken an argument. So what is this argument? Unsigned int id. So id is nothing but to whom you are voting there. So as I said, for Narendra Modi, I have taken id value as 0. Okay, so when id value is 0, then what I'm doing here, I'm incrementing the value of votes of 0 plus. Okay, so I'm incrementing the votes of 0. So which means that I'm incrementing the votes casted for Narendra Modi ji there. And when the ID value is 1, okay, when you will get ID value 1, when you click on second button there. So when you click on second button, the value of ID will become 1. So ID, so 1 double equal to 1 will become true. So votes of 1 for, for US president, you will get, it will be incremented by 1. So when the ID value is 2 for Russian president, the value will be incremented by 1. So here, what we are passing here, ID is being passed from use front end. So in the front end, I have written a JavaScript in such a way that whenever you press a button, to this smart contract send this data. So what is the data? Some piece of information there. So before we go for this, okay, before we go for this, what I'm doing here is, okay, so I'm having require. What is this require? This is used to handle errors. Okay, so this is an error exception will be called. Whenever exception will be called, whenever you have voted already, then only an exception will be called. So here, what I'm doing here, I'm checking. So what is this message dot sender? Yesterday also told this message dot sender is nothing but a person who is accessing this contract, so whenever say I have pressed a vote button through my wallet address, then what will happen here? That wallet address will be sent to message.sender here. So message.sender is a global variable. So the anyone across the blockchain network can able to access this message.sender. So here, what I'm doing here, I'm passing to voters of message.sender. Voters of message.sender is nothing but a user defined array. So here it comes to here. So here, what is happening here? For that address, what I'm mapping here, I'm mapping to bool. So which means that if that address is passed to this voters variable, I'm assigning a value called true. Okay, I'm assigning a value called true, which means that it's already it's already voted. Okay, so immediately if you if you want to vote for second time, what will happen? It's already voted because it's already written as true in the voters variable here. So in the voters variable, what is happening here is like it is collecting the wallet address and also assigning it to true if it is already voted. If it is not voted, it will not be available in the voters list, right? So if it is not available in the voters list, then what happens here is like it will now append into the voters list, and you can what I'm doing here, I'm just assigning the value to true. You can able to see it here. If it is not available in the voters list, which means that it's a new voter. If it is already available, then it means that that is already available, right? So it is the value is true here. So I'm checking with boolean values. If it is already voted, so the value will become false, because not true is nothing but false here. If it is not available, so that will become false. Not false is true. So then immediately it comes to here. So we have this kind of simple error handling, which is used to check whether the person is already voted or not. So by using this mapping, okay, what is this mapping? So for every address, what is there? It is having an equivalent boolean value. So what is this boolean value? By default, it will be false. Okay, by default, if the data is not available in voters list, so nothing will happen. But it will return to false. Okay, if it is not available, if the new address is not available in voters list, it will become false. So not false is true, then immediately it goes to here. Okay, so if it is available, so it will produce an error. Okay, so that is what it is happening out here. So we are using a simple require logic in order to understand whether the person is already voted or not. If the person is not voted, so now it will append into the list. And now I'm comparing this id logic inside the the function here. So if you want to identify the number of votes casted for each participant, so I'm calling which function here? View vote is nothing but a function which is returning what? Unsigned int of 3. So unsigned int of 3 is nothing but array, so that is where memory comes in. So here I'm just returning an array. So immediately votes is nothing but an array which has been created here. So inside votes, what I'm doing here, I'm incrementing the value of each and every member in the array based on the id which has been received here. So that data I'm storing in votes variable, and I'm returning it whenever you click on view vote. Okay, so let me copy this and paste it in the in the solidity file which has been created in the command shell. Okay, in the command shell I'll paste it directly. So here we have two functions, view vote and cast vote. That is what we have to understand. So in order to avoid the voting, in order to avoid the the malfunction of voting, I have used a simple technique called require. So require is nothing but it is used to throw an exception if it is already voted. So you can able to see that I have demonstrated it in the MetaMask. So initially the new voter will not be available. The new voter valid address will not be available in the list. If it is not available, then now goes to true now it will get stored in the voters array. So in the voters array, so a new address will be stored. So in the next time whenever with the same address, if you want to vote, then obviously it will be able to identify that. Okay, so we have cast vote and we have view vote function here. Let me exit from this editor. So this is the nano editor. I guess control X Y enter. So you have to press control X Y enter if you want to come out of this. So I'm using nano editor. I'm not using any remix IDE. I'm simply using nano. What is nano? Nano is nothing but notepad editor. So in Windows operating system you have notepad editor. In Linux you have nano editor. Okay, so let me come out of this. Okay, now the contract has been created. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to compile this contract. So if you want to compile this contract, make sure that so let me restart my Ganache also, because a contract with the same contract is created here, right? So we have to restart it. So other time, next time we'll restart, but let me compile this. So Truffle, let me come out of this contracts folder. Let me compile this program. Okay, so let Truffle space compile, enter. So when you hit Truffle space compile, then obviously the contract will be compiled. If there is any problem in the contract, then obviously that will be showing here. If there is no problem, then obviously the artifact will be written. Now the artifact is written. So what is the first step which we did here? We have let me also write that here. Okay, so what we did here, everything will be there in the presentation for you to understand. What we did here, we have initialized the Truffle. Okay, and then what we did here, we have created our own contract, and then we have compiled it. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to create a migration script for the contract. So if you want to migrate it. Okay, so first what all these are all backend, right? So these are all backend. Okay, let me divide the entire project development into three. Okay, one is backend. So development, let me divide that into backend, okay, middleware, and front end. Okay, backend, it's related to smart contracts. Okay, for you to understand. Middleware is like the JavaScript API. Okay, front end is like HTML. Okay, if you understand all this, you can easily understand, right? So backend, so we are doing the backend as of now. So we have created a migration script, right? So let me create a migration script. So that migration script has to be created in the migrations folder. Okay, so you have migrations folder. So inside the migrations folder, we have to create a migration script here. So cd space migrations, ls enter. So here there is already a migration script for migration.syl. So when you are creating a migration script, make sure that you start with numbers. Okay, and here the first script is already there, so we have to create a second script here. So make sure that the numbers are in order. Okay, don't write 3 underscore here. So that should be in order, otherwise you'll get error. So the first migration script is available in as 1 underscore. Let me start with 2 underscore. Okay, 2. So here we can write 2. After that you can write anything. Okay, so deploy contract.js, whatever. Okay, so but you have to use sudo space nano. Okay, because we need an editor to write this, right? Sudo space nano space 2 underscore deploy underscore contract.js. So this is the migration script. Okay, so here we have to create a migration script. Okay, so to create if you want to create a migration script, make sure that the contract is compiled, because migration script will be holding the artifact. If the artifact is not available, then immediately the migration script you will get error. So make sure that you have compiled your contract. Okay, if the contract is compiled, then only you can able to get the artifact, right? If the artifact is not available, you cannot you cannot create the migration script here. So let me create a migration script by using sudo nano. So make sure that the numbering follows here. Okay, make sure that the number follows correctly. So let me hit enter. So here we have to create a migration script. So it's very simple to create a migration script. It's only 3-4 lines of program. So let me type here. So let me take a simple variable. So in JavaScript, you can have a keyword called var election equal to. Okay, var election equal to. or election equal to artifact. So hope I have discussed about artifact. Artifact is nothing but, so what is required if you want to deploy this contract? We require an artifact called election.json. So that is why we have to write dot require. So we require what? Election artifact. So if you want to if you want to deploy this if you want to migrate this contract, then obviously we need this artifact. If this artifact is not available in build contracts folder, immediately you'll get error. Okay, so we have to migrate this by calling module.export. So we have to export this artifact by using a simple function called deployer. Okay, function deployer. So we have to run this artifact. So deployer dot we have to deployer dot deploy. So deploy is a built-in method here of deployer. So we have to deploy an artifact which is available called election there. So this is a small script, migration script. So this migration will work only when you have the uh, election artifact file in build contracts folder. If you want to migrate, so make sure that you don't have any duplicate on the blockchain network. Okay. So Control X, Y, enter. Okay, so let me restart my Ganache. Okay, so let me quit this and let me open it again. It's very easy. It's one click, right? So double click on it. Immediately, the Ganache will start. Okay, let me quick start. So whenever you restart your server, all the previous data will be lost, right? But the thing is, like, again, you have to import one account into the MetaMask. Okay, let me do that. So let me copy this. So again, you have to import this account. Okay, but as of now, that is fine. Later we'll do. But as of now, let's migrate our script onto this blockchain network. So let me type cd dot dot. Let me type sudo space or you can say truffle space migrate. Okay, if it has permission, we can make with sudo space truffle migrate. So truffle space migrate, immediately the contract will be migrated onto the blockchain network. So when you are migrating, it uses application binary interface. Okay, so you can able to see here everything is up to date, so there is no problem with compiling your contracts. Then as we have written the migration script for election, so that script is also migrated onto the blockchain network here. So now it was migrated. So it will take the first wallet address. Okay, it will take the first wallet address. So this address it is taking there randomly. You can able to see it there. And the contract, a contract address has been created. Now contract has been migrated. Okay, so we have in the step 5 what we did. We have migrated the contract. So that's all about the backend. Okay, so we are done with backend. So in the backend, what we did here, we have initialized Truffle, which is a project template, and then we have created our own contract. So, so when you are creating your own contract, you have to understand what is the application that you want to create, because this smart contract logic will vary from template to project, right? So here, as of now, as it is focusing on simple voting, so we have created a certain logic like we have written a function called view vote and cast vote. So cast vote is nothing but if you want to cast vote, you have to call a function called cast vote. View vote is nothing but every time you have to display how many votes have been casted there, so by using a simple function call. So in contract, as of now, we have cast vote, we have cast vote, and we have view vote functions. Okay, so these are the important things which you need to understand. So we have cast vote and view vote. So we have migrated the contract. Okay, so let me copy all this into my Git. Okay, so that you can access from there. Let me copy it. Where is my Git? Okay, because you have this my link, right? So let me paste it here so that it will be helping you. So whenever you okay, so truffle init is a command, so there's no problem with that. So here in created your contract, what you have to do, cd space contracts, and you have to type sudo space nano space election dot SOL. So that is what you have to do. And to compile the contract, what you have to do, truffle space compile. So that is the step there. And to create a migration script, cd space migrations, and then you have to use a command called truffle space migrate. Okay. So to migrate the cd space migrate sudo space nano space to underscore deploy underscore contract dot js. So you have to create the migration script there, and then you can use a command called truffle space migrate. So this is a backend. Okay. So this is a backend. So let me commit the changes so it will be displayed there so that you can access this. Okay. So we have backend. We have did this 5 steps, right? Now let's create front end. Okay. So after backend, you have to create front end. After creating front end, you have to focus on the middleware. Okay. So front end. So here again, let me tell you in steps. Okay, so that it will be easy for you. The first step one is like, you have to create source folder here. You have to create a source folder, and then you have to create an HTML file. Okay, HTML file, it depends on project, right? It varies from project to project. So here you have images, you have buttons. I have used a bootstrap. Since you have bootstrap, so your CSS will be integrated. So no need to write from scratch, everything is integrated, right? So it's easy for you to develop an HTML page. So let me create a source folder here. So anyways, this video is in recording, you can do it step by step. Okay, so let me type ls. Let me create a folder mkdir space src. So let me enter into src folder. In src folder, let me create an html file. Okay, sudo space nano space index.html. So if you want to develop this, you have to be good at html language. So here let me jump into the git. Okay, so I have written a simple html file by using bootstrap. So in src folder, you have this html page. So this html page is using bootstrap, so you can able to see that. Let me zoom it for you. Where is this? Yep. So you have this bootstrap, right? So bootstrap is open source, you can easily include it. And you have the the jQuery. So I'm using all this. So bootstrap.css. So css for style sheet, right? So how to display a button, what color I need to select, what is the layout and all. So I have taken simple bootstrap. So I have included all this. Hope you're aware of head tag, HTML tag. I don't want to discuss all that because that's common for every HTML page, right? So in the head tag, so simply I have created a title, and then meta tag, and then head tag, right? So inside the head tag, I've discussed about what is the CSS that it has to include for the template, and what kind of JavaScript files, right? So jQuery file, and this popper file is for for getting the data from JavaScript to HTML. So I have used all this. So Bootstrap for the for button click, for image box and all. So I have used a simple Bootstrap API. And then after head tag, in the body tag, what we did here, I have taken a container. So container is nothing but layout here. In the container, I have displayed a message called vote for best leader. Voting through the Ethereum blockchain network, I have displayed in the paragraph. In the row, I have created 3 boxes, cards. So inside each card, I have displayed the image from the images folder with style width 100%. Card title I have displayed Narendra Modi ji, and card text Prime Minister of India. So here, what I'm doing here, you can able to see button. So button is it is calling BTN class. So that's a built-in class in Bootstrap. BTN primary that displays the color, so in blue color, and BTN-vote. So this is the important thing. Okay. So BTN-vote is nothing but that respective class. So when you click on that, this respective class will be called, right? So all these classes will be called. So this button is to have a button logic. Button primary is for color, and button-vote is the logic which is which connects with the backend. Okay, BTN-vote. So what is the data ID I'm passing here? I'm passing data ID called 0. So whenever you press this button, all these classes will be called. So the main important class is BTN-vote. Okay, please remember this because we need to talk about this in the JavaScript API. And data ID is 0. So that is what you have to remember. And in the similar way, I have duplicated all these cards. I have changed the images, I have changed the text, but instead of data ID 0, I am passing 1 here. So that is what I said. So I'm passing 0 and 1 data IDs, 0 and 1 on the front end. So here also for the third contestant. So here I'm writing data if an ID equal to 2. So all this data I'm writing in the HTML page. So whenever you click on that button, this respective class will be called, and this respective data ID will be passed to the the middle end there. So which has been written there through JavaScript. So here I wanted to display the another container here. I wanted to display how many votes have been cashed for each contestant. So here that is why I have written a table in table, all this, right, table row and all. So table heading. Okay, so table ID equal to V1, which is nothing but the number of votes for Narendra Modi ji, and table ID equal to V2, V1, V2 are nothing but votes output. Okay, so initially there will be zeros, right? So initially V1 value is 0, V2 value is 0, V3 value is 0. So these are nothing but IDs. So through this ID, we will be putting your output statement here by using document.href. So generally, if you're good at JavaScript and HTML, you can easily understand why I have written IDs here. So through this IDs, so this respective table data to this table data, I'm just putting all the output values here. So initially there will be zeros that will be passed from the backend there. And your address, so here at your address I'm just showing you my wallet address. Okay, and also I'm using as I said, I'm using web3 JavaScript API and also Truffle contract. So these are the two built-in files, so we have to copy them. So these are the two built-in files, and app.js is our written file, so we have to define it. Okay, by our own end. So this app.js will be having this contract function calls, so we have to define them in app.js properly, so then only it will work. So let me copy all this. A simple HTML page is written here by using bootstrap, and also I have used JavaScript API in order to connect the front end and the blockchain application there. So let me copy all this, let me paste it in the nano editor. So let me quit from this. Okay, Control X, Y, enter. Okay. So are you all with me? Are you all following me?
Madhu ji, yahi hai sab. We are
Okay.
there.
Okay.
And it is great means you have not even taken the break. You must be tired also. So,
Okay. It is about to complete in 20-25 minutes. Sir.
yeah. Then we will end the
Okay.
session. Okay.
Okay, so here we have copied the index.html, okay, into the source folder. So here we have index.html, but this index.html is holding images, right? So it is holding some images. So let us download those images also. So let me create a folder called images, cd space images, okay. Oh, sorry, mkdir space images. So we have to create images folder here. Into that images folder, let me download images of these three persons here, otherwise we'll get error. So let me download that. Okay, save image as. So you can save that in the what is this desktop, no, where I have created this. Yeah, demo DAP, right, src. So in images we have to save this images. Okay, so click on save and save image in the same folder. So it's easy. I have taken from Google only. So so all that images are now available in images folder. Okay. So we have those images in images folder. So no issue on that. So now we have images. Now we have images. Let me open. Okay. Let me open the file directly without any server. Okay. Where is this? Oh, okay. So let me open the file directly. Okay. So src. So this is a file. Let me open with Google Chrome without any server run and all. So you can able to see the front end API. Okay. So here it is not displaying 0 also, because it is not running through server. So I just opened the HTML file directly to view whether it is displaying correctly or not. Nothing will happen here when you click on vote. Nothing will happen because it is not running through server. Okay. So and we have not written any JavaScript file, right? You will get error. You can able to see console. All these files are not found. Okay, we have not done with middleware, right? So we have created a source, we have created an HTML and and the respective images, right? Now the front end is ready. So now we have to connect this front end and back end. So let's talk about the middleware, which is like it is not, it's not a keyword, right? Middleware, just for you to understand, I written middleware. So here JavaScript API. So JavaScript API plays a vital role. Okay. So first let us download the predefined files. Okay. So let us download the predefined files. So what are the predefined files here? So web3.min.js. So web3.min.js. What is this? Web3.min.js and a truffle contract.js. So these are the built-in files. Okay, in every project you have the similar files because they are the library files. Okay, so let me download those files. Okay, let me download those files directly. Let me put it in the folder. Okay, this is a library file which is used, okay, to call the contract functions. But here inside this, no need to change anything because everything you have to change only in app.js. App.js will be varied from project to project. So app.js, as someone is asking about how to call the contract function through this HTML page, right? So we'll be calling through app.js. Okay, so let me simply copy this web3.min.js. Okay, so you can able to see this is a library file. Okay, let me copy that. So okay, simply copy all this. Okay, copy and paste. Okay, so where you have to paste in JS folder. Okay, so let me create JS folder, cd space JS. So you have to have this. Okay, what is the name of the file? So we have to put it correctly because that is called from HTML page. So web3.min.js. Okay, so let me paste all this. Okay, it is pasted. Control X, Y, enter. No need to change anything there. In the similar way, we have to, we have to paste one more predefined file, which is truffle contract. So these are available in Web3 JavaScript API documentation. You can download those files from here. Okay. So as of now, I have downloaded from GitHub of this Web3 API. So directly I'm doing from here. So let me copy all this. Let me click on raw so that only the raw code will be displaying. So let me copy it. Hmm. I'll do one thing, say as this is simple, I guess. Okay, let's save it instead of copy paste. Okay, so we have the truffle contract.js here. Okay, so we have truffle contract JS file, which is a built-in file. No need to change this. Now there comes the main file, which is app.js. So we have to create app.js here. Okay, so we have to create app.js. This app.js will be different from project to project. So application to application, this JavaScript file will be different here. So here what happens? So we have written a contract that has been deployed on the blockchain network, and we have in the contract we have functions called the cast vote and view vote, and from the front end we have buttons, right? So that button, when you click on that button, it is, I said, it will be calling a class called button hyphen vote, right? So that will be defined in the app.js. So let me jump to my file. Okay, let me explain this step by step so that you can easily understand. So let me let me do step by step. Okay. So this is most important. Let me explain this. Okay. So let me do this first. Copy, paste. Okay, let me copy paste in steps. Okay, so that you can easily understand. So dollar function window.load function app.init. So what do you mean by this syntax? So this syntax is nothing but whenever the web page is opened, immediately initialize the app. Okay, app.init is nothing but call the initialization function which is defined in app. So here we have to define app, isn't it? So we have to define app here. Okay, so whenever the web page is opened, whenever the web page is loaded, it has to be it has to be call a function called init inside app. So where is this app? So here it is. So let me do one thing here. Let me write it app equal to. Okay, so here we have to define a function called init. Okay, so what is the init function here? Let me show you that. So init object, control C. Okay, control B. So what is there here? INIT. So app.init is nothing but it is calling INIT, okay, which is initialization here, async function. So asynchronous function. What is this asynchronous function is doing here? It is calling one more function called INIT web3. I should not call it as function. I should call it as something like, the user defined function here. Okay. So user defined function is INIT web3. So that is not defined here, right? So we have to define it. Okay. So let me do it in steps. So as I said, so now what we have to do, we have to initialize web3. So this is initialize web3. Okay. So let me copy it from there and paste it here. So here what I'm doing here, init web3 again asynchronous function call. So here what I'm doing here, I'm having if and else here. So what is initializing here? Web3 is getting initialized. What is this Web3? So Web3 provider should be there. If you want to connect the front end with blockchain network, you need a Web3 provider. So I'm checking whether this browser is having Web3 or not. If this browser is supported with Web3, then no need to no need to have HTTP provider. So you can use Web3.current provider. What is current provider here? MetaMask. So that is why. So previously I have shown you, right? I have clicked on console. I've shown you. I have typed Web3. If you type Web3, if it is available, it means that MetaMask is added as an extension there. If MetaMask is not added as an extension, Web3 will not be available on the browser window there. So that is why this if window.web3. So if window.web3, okay, if window.web3 is becomes false, then what will happen? It goes to else. So in else, what is there? In else, we have app.web3 provider equal to new web3.providers.http provider. We are providing HTTP provider through HTTP URL. What is this URL here? HTTP localhost colon 7545. So localhost colon 7545 is nothing but the blockchain server, the server IP and port number, right? So like this, you have to provide HTTP provider. Okay, but as of now, we have we have MetaMask extension in the browser. That is why it never comes to else. Okay, so we have the we have MetaMask extension. So this window.web3 will become true. Okay, so this will become true, and thereby the current provider will become the Web3 provider. The current provider will become the Web3 provider. So what will happen here? A Web3 object has been created. Through Web3 only we have to interact with smart contract. Okay, through Web3 object, through MetaMask. So what is Web3 here? Now Web3 is nothing but MetaMask. Okay, so through MetaMask we wanted to interact with smart contract. So that is why Web3 is nothing but MetaMask as of now. So after that, what I'm trying to do here, I'm initializing the contract. So I need to understand to which contract, because on one blockchain network you will have multiple contracts, right? Every contract is differentiated with contract address, isn't it? And also every contract will have a ABI, application binary interface. All that will be having in build contracts folder. Artifact is available, so I can initialize the contract. Okay, but here I have taken Web3 variable, right? So let me define some variables. So we have variable like Web3 provider here. So let me put them as variables. Okay, so I have used Web3 provider here. So let me have some variables. Okay, So these are the variables, Web3 provider. So I am using app.web3 provider, right? So that is why we have to define it. So initially it is null, but when it comes to this function call, so app, whenever the web page is loaded, so this function will be called. Inside this function, it is calling this function. So init web3 here. So inside this function, so it is comparing whether you have MetaMask or not. If you have MetaMask, so that current provider will become the Web3 provider now. So that Web3 provider is nothing but MetaMask. Through MetaMask, it will be connected with the backend. So if the MetaMask is not available, so it is HTTP. So you can directly connect through HTTP provider, which is like it will be send a request directly to the blockchain without any wallet in between. So if the wallet is not available, you can directly connect with HTTP by using HTTP provider here. Okay. After that, what is happening here? After that, it is calling a function called init contract. So let us define this. Okay. Init contract is again a user defined function. We have to define it. So let me copy this and explain. Okay. So let me copy it in the next step. Okay. So here, init contract. So tab space only for your understanding. Okay. So there is no tab space mandatory, but for you to understand. So here, what is there? Get JSON of election.json. So what is this election.json? Election.json is nothing but the artifact of election.syl. Election.syl is a solidity file, right? We have election.json whenever you compile the project in build contracts folder. Okay, in build contracts folder, you have election.json. So that file will be included here. Okay, so get $.get.json is nothing but get this election.json. Okay, from that I need data. So that data is assigned to what? Election artifact variable. So through this election artifact variable, what is happening here? So we are having a method called Truffle contract. So we have built in JS file which we have downloaded from the GitHub. So Truffle to the Truffle contract, we are passing election artifact. So this election artifact, what it is holding there, it is holding the ABI, application binary interface. Okay. So through that ABI, we have to connect with contract. So if you want to connect with contract, make sure that you have the artifact available. If you have the artifact available, what we are doing here, we are passing to Truffle contract. So Truffle contract is a method in the JavaScript Ethereum API, and that is returning, that is stored in a variable called election. Okay, contracts.election. This is a user defined variable. Okay, that is getting stored in contracts.election. So what is contracts here? You can able to see contracts is empty initially, but here we are assigning some some data variable. App.contracts.election is equal to Truffle contract, which is nothing but Truffle address. Okay, the artifact file which has been accessed, and then we are also provide Web3 provider there. So a Web3 provider is nothing but through MetaMask. So MetaMask and the artifact is available. Okay, that is getting stored in the contracts variable. Okay, all this two data will be stored in the contracts variable, which is defined in the above. After then, what is happening here? So we have two. One is called display votes. So what is a function which it is calling there? Display votes, and also it is returning. So it will go to display votes function. So what is a display votes function? Display votes function is nothing but it will display how many votes have been casted for each contestant there. So let me copy display votes. Okay, let me copy this function. This function will call the smart contract function call. Okay, so this JavaScript function will be calling the smart contract function call here. So in the display votes function, what is there? We have creating, so we have created a variable called election instance to connect with the blockchain network. Okay, so here what we are doing here, app.contracts.election.deployed. So if this contract is deployed, so what is the name of the contract? Through app.contracts.election. What is this app.contracts.election? That is nothing but the artifact file here. So you can able to see the Truffle contract of election artifact, which is nothing but artifact file. So which means that if it is deployed, so if it is deployed, then what it has to do, it has to allow the it has to allow the instance. Okay, so that instance I'm storing in election instance here. So that instance I'm storing in election instance. Through this instance variable, I'm accessing what? View vote. What is this view vote? This view vote is the smart contract function. So by using .call method, I'm calling this function, which is through election instance. What is how you can get this election instance? Whenever the contract is deployed. Okay, so I hope you're aware of instances and all. So if the contract is deployed, so this will become true, right? Then it will enter into this function. Inside this function, it is calling a function called viewVote.call. So immediately it starts returning the data. When it starts returning the data, then immediately that data variable. So that votes variable, what we are doing here, we are differentiating the data of votes of 0, votes of 1, votes of 2 to 3 different fields, because in the front end we have defined v1, v2, v3. So document.get element by id of v1 is nothing but pushing the votes of 0 data, votes of 0 data to v1, votes of 1 data to v2, votes of 2 data to v3. So at v1, v2, v3, all this data, votes of 0 data will be stored there, and that data will be displayed. If there is any error, so it displays the error on the console. So this is how you need to call the function. It's very simple to call the function. So first what we have to do is we have to take instance variable, some dummy instance variable, and then we have to check whether this selection contract is deployed or not. If it is deployed, then access the instance of the contract, and then using that instance, you can call the function directly by writing the function name dot call. So viewVote.call is nothing but viewVote doesn't have any arguments, right? But when you look at cast vote will be having some arguments there. So here viewVote is not having any argument. That is why dot call method comes here. So if you don't have any arguments, so dot call method comes here. If you have any arguments, then there will be a different function syntax there. And immediately whenever this function is called, immediately it goes to, then if the function is called, then it has to return some data, right? It is returning some data. So that data will be stored in votes variable, and that votes variable, from votes variable we are differentiating votes of 0, votes of 1, votes of 2 into different fields v1, v2 and v3, and we are displaying the data on the front HTML page. So this is one function. Okay, so after that, so display votes function is called. Okay, from here display votes function is called. After that, there is one more function called bind events. So bind events are nothing but the buttons are configured. Okay, so we have bind events which are nothing but buttons are configured here. So let me copy that function call. Okay, so let me have the function call here, which is bind event. So what is this bind events? Whenever button is pressed, whenever button is clicked, okay, whenever button is clicked, what it is doing there, it is calling the function called dot handle vote. Dot handle vote is nothing but a function which is to be defined. It is not defined yet. It is to be defined, which calls the cast vote smart contract function. Now we have to define the function handle vote. So now what we have to do is, there is a function here which is handle vote. So we have to define this function. Okay, so we have to define this function handle vote. In this handle vote function, again the same process will repeat. We have to create an instance. Once we create an instance, again we have to check whether it is deployed or not. If it is deployed, we have to call the function. So every syntax will be there. Okay, so let me explain all that. If you're good at JavaScript, you can easily understand this. But if you're new to JavaScript, then obviously you feel some difficulty here. So handle vote function is called whenever a button is clicked. So here what we have to do, we have to take some, event.prevent default is nothing but, before configuring it, you cannot, though you click the button, so nothing should happen. So it is just avoiding the default cases there. And election instance. So election instance is nothing but, the instance whenever a contract is deployed. If the contract is deployed, if it is identified through this instance variable, we will be connecting to the contract function there. So here what we have to do, we have to read the data from the button, right? So in the front end HTML, so we have read the data from ID, right? So that ID data has to be stored in this ID. So this ID we have to pass to the smart contract function as an argument. That is why we have to read the data from button. So that data is stored in ID here. If you want to store data, then obviously you need a contract wallet address, right? So that wallet address we have to get it. So there is a function called get accounts. So dot get accounts is nothing but which gets the account details from the MetaMask. In the MetaMask, you will be using one account which is connected to the browser app, right? So I have shown you that account 2 is connected with the browser server, right? So that data will be stored in account variable, because we have to understand from which account we are able to make a transaction there. So that account will be stored in account variable here. I'm also doing it on console log for understanding. So through this account, so what we need here, if you want to store, if you want to cast a vote, what we need here, we need to which person you are voting there, and through which wallet address you are voting there. So that wallet address is nothing but account details here, and we have to check whether the contract is deployed or not. If the contract is deployed, by using this instance, what we are doing here, we are calling a function called dot cast vote. So dot cast vote is nothing but a contract function which is the smart contract which has been deployed. So here what we are passing an ID. So ID is nothing but to whom you are voting and from which account you are voting. So which is nothing but that is also passed here. So from which account? So from the MetaMask wallet address. So account is nothing but MetaMask wallet address. So that will be stored in account variable here. And from this account, so this information has passing through cache code function. Immediately that function will be called. If there is any result, okay, comes, if there is any return value comes from the cast vote, then immediately it comes to here. So result, in the result, so there is no return variable for cast vote. That is why I'm not particularly showing any data here, but I am showing the in the console, I'm showing the account address from which account the vote is casted. And also I wanted to show it in the front end also, the address of the wallet through which wallet it is casted. I just wanted to show it in the in the address field in the front end. And also after the vote is casted, what we have to do, we have to refresh the display votes, right? So we have to show the new vote id account which has been appended there. So that function called dot display votes. So immediately it goes to dot display votes. Again, it reads the data from smart contract, and that data will be stored, displayed again. So if there is any error, that error will be displayed on the log. So this is how you need to display. You need to define the you need to call the contract functions through a JavaScript API. So it's very simple. The only thing is like you have this syntax called app.contracts.election.deployed. If it is deployed, you have to take that instance and you have to call the respective function. So if you have an
Madhu sir,
argument, so you
please
need to call
conclude,
dot
sir.
call method. If you have any return variable, then obviously call a dot call method. By using dot call method, so it will read the data from the contract, and then by using dot, then you can able to display that data on the front end. So this is how the JavaScript file is created here. So let me come out of this. So now app.js is also ready. So let me go back and let me go back to the main folders. Okay, so we have src, we have this, but we have to create a configuration file for the server. Okay, so then only it will able to understand. So let me create a configuration file. So configuration file is nothing but bs-config.json. So this is very important. Let me copy this. So this is nothing but the server the base directories, because in the JavaScript file we have used the JSON, right? So election.json, but we have to specify from which folder the JSON file has to be included. So this this is done through the configuration of the server which is there. So sudo space nano space bs-config.json. So here we have to tell which from which folders you have to include. Okay, so here we are talking about is the HTML file. So it is in src folder. HTML file is available in src folder, and also election.json is available in build contracts folder. That is, so this is one configuration file which you have to do. So there are two configuration files. One is bs-config.json and the second file is package.json. So we have to create package.json manually. So let me do that. So in package.json we have to talk about what little description about the
Sir,
project, and then you
Madhu
have to
sir,
talk about which kind of server you are using out there.
Madhu sir,
Sir,
sir, sorry to interrupt you. Your session is so great, but looking to the time means we have to conclude, sir.
yes sir, it is getting to complete.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so save the configuration file package.json. So let me now so we have JSON. SRC is also there. Now what I do is I'll go for the final steps, which is like I need to check the MetaMask. So MetaMask. So I have as I have restarted my server, you can able to zero ethers here. So let me delete this account. Let me delete the account too. Let me again import a new account. Okay, so let me copy this private key from Ganache to the the MetaMask. So let me import a new account. Import an account through the private key. Okay, so we got this. So now the MetaMask is also ready. Let me the server. If you want to run the server, make sure that you know the last command, which is sudo space npm space run space dev. So it is saying it is not agreement install. Yes. Let me install that. Type note. Complete login. So there is some error, okay, in the form of node modules. Okay, so we have to install some modules required related to the server, so it will get installed. Once it gets installed, you'll see something like this. Okay, you'll say something like node underscore modules. In node underscore modules, you have all the respective predefined node for a script which is written. So all this has to be downloaded. So once it gets downloaded, we can easily run a command called npm run dev. By using that, you can able to yes, now node underscore modules is also available. So let me run the server sudo npm run dev. Yes, let me use this AP, URL, okay, localhost, copy link, and let me paste it. So now let me connect this wallet, okay. Now let me connect this wallet to this server, which is like connected sites, manually connect to the current site. Let me connect it. Now it is connected. Let me vote, okay. Let me click on vote. It will send a request to MetaMask. So MetaMask, you can click on confirm. So as of now, it is showing 000 because previously votes are 0. And we click on confirm. When I click on confirm, you can able to see 1 because it is calling display votes function. So that's how you need to design a complete end-to-end decentralized application based on the request, based on the context of the application there. You can able to see the address is also printing here. This is a wallet address through which wallet the vote is casted. This is your wallet address. So through which address it is casted. So we are displaying all this data through JavaScript, right? So this is how you need to do the complete end to end using Truffle and Ganache, MetaMask, and the JavaScript API, which is web3.js. So you can use my Git. Okay, let me. So any queries you can ask me. So that's all. I just wanted to show you.
Thank you, Madhu sir. Really means it was a very knowledgeable, informative, and an extensive session. And Madhu sir has shown each and every step with the depth and repeated everything from the scratch. And that too without even taking a break. For 3 hours continuously he was speaking. So thank you, sir. And we are really very thankful to you for delivering such a wonderful session and sharing all the code from your GitHub also. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.